is Adelaide. The stakes are very high for a round 2 game, as I say. Good afternoon and welcome to Brian Taylor. Brian, which way are you leaning at this very early stage?
Maybe my heart says Collingwood just a fraction, but I would expect them to win. Look, Adelaide haven't been in great form. They don't play great football here, Gary, but interesting notice we see the toss of the coin there. Mark Ricciuto, Anthony Rocker, of course, the acting captain today.
He is indeed, and he's won the toss. He'll kick to the right of screen, which is the Coventry end of the Telstra Dome.
Yep, so Collingwood to the right of screen, and a big day for one of Adelaide's best today, guys. Ben Hart equals Nigel Smart's games record today. 278 games he will have played. So Ben Hart equaling that today. 278 games in the 15-year history of the Adelaide Crows.
Fantastic. Had some bad hamstring problems in the last year or two. Let's head down to the boundary where all afternoon our man will be, Chris Jones. Welcome, Jonesy.
Thanks, Gary. It's been an amazing hour down here on the boundary line. There is rain around the docklands and they've been trying to shut the roof but haven't been able to because of the gale force winds. It is starting to shut now. They were hoping to start the game with the roof closed, but that won't happen. So we'll monitor that over the next half an hour or so. Expect Shane Woewodin to start the game on the bench.
Good on you, Jonesy. Chris Jones down on the boundary.
Just brushed over the great Murray Rose tossing the coin. You two, no interest in that? One of the greatest swimmers of all time.
And check your rundown, James. Just about to mention that Murray Rose tossed the coin between Mark Ricciuto and Anthony Rocker, and we welcome him to the Telstra Dome, one of the greatest swimmers of all time.
And starting on the bench for Collingwood today, Woewodin, Rowe, Cole and Williams. And for Adelaide, Thompson, Bode, Biglands and Henschel will start on the pine. There is Shane Woewodin, of course, and Julian Rowe there in amongst it as well. One of the inclusions for Collingwood this weekend, playing just his 9th senior game.
Goals at a premium for Adelaide, and Andrew McLeod going deep into attack at the moment. Welsh is down there as well. We've also got Hayden Skipworth. Looks like Mark Stevens will be down deep in attack, so trying to find some potency. Brodie Holland going to McLeod for a little bit of company for the afternoon. Down the other end, just trying to work out who's going to Anthony Rocker, and they've decided that Ben Rutten will be that man who's got a big job.
191 centimetres, Ben Rutten. He's a big, solid lad, and already a little bit of how do you do.
Stevens it is, getting into Holland.
Underway, umpire Justin Smith to put the ball on the turf to start this game. Adelaide and Collingwood. Hudson, the first knockdown. The scrap is on in the middle, and O'Brien. Collingwood will be absolutely desperate today to get it underway with a good start and come home with a solid finish here today. Paul Licuria there has been a great player for Collingwood, twice a Copeland Trophy winner, of course, and already a big pack of players forming around the ball. So the roof, we think, about to be closed. Light rain falling, as Chris mentioned. Ricciuto over the top, Caracella. Collingwood are out. Shaw able to deliver beautifully and precisely to Tarrant on the lead.
Bassett got the job on Tarrant.
Rocker into the pocket, ordinary kick. Rocker had his man beaten there, Gary. Couldn't quite get it to him. And the result is the boundary.
Bit of a worry, that one. Actually, I dispute that. I think Bassett might have the job on Tarrant at the moment. It might be a leg speed issue for Bassett. Ricciuto and Licuria in the middle of the ground. That'll be a beauty.
Boundary throw-in. Pies in attack. Cloak does some wrestling. It comes to the back and Licuria picks it up. Snap on goal, and that misses to the far side, but it's the first score of the match. And it goes to Paul Licuria. John Cock to bring it back in. And he developed into a terrific last line of defence player. So important in modern football that your smaller players use the ball well. He generally does. Goes long to a contest on this occasion. It comes from the hands of McGregor to the back. Collingwood through Johnson. Works the handball to Burns. McLeod did well to get a hand in there. Riley's handball was okay. Shirley, in the end, gets it out to the Brownlow medal winning skipper. Long ball forward to Skipworth is good. Handball to McLeod. Can load it up inside the 50 and miss. On the run, a point apiece.
Yeah, long way, Brodie Holland, a long way away from Andrew McLeod on that occasion. He copped some heavy criticism through the week from Andrew Jarman, did Andrew McLeod, which was rather surprising for us here in Melbourne anyway. So I reckon he might have a point to prove today.
Lockyer wide with the ball. Tarrant a long way from home at half back at the moment, so he's working very deep over the top to Reece Shaw. Has the leg speed for Collingwood. They need more of his type though. Licuria, centre wing, looking for Rocker in front though. Should have been played a free kick. Perry not on, says the umpire. Now Rocker tries to complete his good aerial work and earns himself a free kick. Pretty soft one it was. Johnson it is. Wide to Burns and O'Brien. Can rattle it out there. It's the ladder. Chip over the top was well smothered by Downey. Caused the disputed ball. Very much so now. O'Brien tries to measure up and correct his bad work in disposal. And we'll have a ball up attacking 50 for Collingwood.
Very technical battle taking place at the moment. Cameron Cloak with Simon Goodwin.
About 5 players contest this ball. Then comes to Carosella. Standing start kick from that player. Leon Davis does some work at ground level. Rocker does some work and kicks a goal. An unusual combination. The small man at ground level normally. On this occasion, it was the big forward that did the job.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I have big news. Radio Rentals brings you 4 years interest-free. That's a massive 4 years interest-free on widescreen, plasma and LCD TVs. You can get 4 years interest-free on fridges and washers at Radio Rentals. You can even get furniture with 4 years interest-free. With 4 years interest-free at SA's biggest electrical retailer, you don't need to shop anywhere else. Now that's big!
The crumb for the big fella. Back in the middle. Rocker with the first goal of the game. Hudson. Inside 50 for Adelaide. Came at it, Stevens. Off hands. Clement got it all to do. He's pursued hotly by Skipworth. And forced the handball to the boundary. And will throw it in deep. In attacking zone for Adelaide.
To let you know, Cameron Cloak isn't running around with Simon Goodwin. He is, of course, in the ruck at the moment. Going up hard against Ben Hudson. He's a big lump of lad.
Boundary throw in. Hudson and Cloak. Prosciutto perhaps didn't have it. Shaw. Nice handball under pressure. Johnson. Kick around the corner. Lucuria couldn't do it. Now Edwards. Got it all to do from beyond 50. Sees the loose man in the pocket. Couldn't quite get there. Soccer off the ground by Perry. Not quite successful. Wasn't far off, though. And Adelaide starting to press at their end of the ground.
Reece Shaw running around with Simon Goodwin. So Shaw started the season pretty well.
Clement to bring it back in. Even start. The Pies just managing to snaffle the only goal of the day so far. Clement taking his time. Now he's called to go. Short ball to Johnson's okay in the back half. 4 possessions already for Johnson, so he's finding plenty of it. Over the top. Good to Brodie Holland. Johnson's going to get it back again. He's brought his own footy. Short ball from him. Got it to Carosella. Much travelled footballer. Over the top to Loney. Looks like the option he'll take. He stops and waits. Causes himself a problem. We're going to get a turnover here. Skipworth picks it up. Thumping handball to Welsh. The shepherd will come from Perry. Welsh to load up. McLeod's got a break. Beautiful kick. Wakeland couldn't close him down. And the superstar wearing the 23 jumper will shoot from point-blank range.
I'm not sure that Collingwood will not. Proud superstars like McLeod would not take that all that well. And I reckon he's just about set at the moment.
From directly in front to kick the Adelaide Crows first, Andrew McLeod gets the job done.
Goal apiece here in the first quarter. McLeod and Rocker for the respective sides, the 2 superstar forwards. In the middle, Hudson over the top of Cloak. Nicely done to Shirley, disposes of the ball. Lockyer. Little tap was intelligent. Look at the teamwork from Collingwood. Lockyer wide. Lucuria wants to get back on his left foot. Took a little bit of time. Tarrant and Rocker collide midair. John Cock able to take it out of the danger zone. Off hands though, the smother. Rocker shot on goal. Misses. So the two talls for Collingwood colliding mid-air there, Gary.
Yes, if they can work that out, they look pretty ominous up there. And Tarrant looks to have a bit too much leg speed for Bassett, who dropped off him in that marking contest. And, well, we know that Rocker's capable, so Rutten's got a pretty big job as well.
Anthony Rocker doing the job in the air and on the ground. Already snapped one, just missed that one. This is John Cock to bring it back in. Long in the Hudson direction. He's triple teamed. Rashudo tries to thump it out of the air. Unable to do so. Collingwood with the numbers. Tarkin Lockyer over the top. Got the available Rocker. Good lead, good kick. And Anthony can take a shot at his second.
Yeah, lovely use of the footy from Tarkin Lockyer. The tight angle for Anthony Rocker.
Roof starting to close, Gary. The lights are flashing up on top deck.
We're just repeating that news that we had a few problems because of the high winds, but it does seem to be on its way at the moment.
There is the roof shutting. And there is Anthony Rocker, who's having a crack at his second. Be a good start for him. Such a key player to the Collingwood Football Club. Tight-ish angle. He's taken a long time over it.
Getting his breath back, I think.
Goal umpire taking his job very seriously as well there, Brian, as Anthony. Set shot. And that's not his absolute best. In fact, he's failed to register as the goal umpire just wheels his way back. That's out in the full.
Thought that it was actually a behind, not that it matters, but...
Well, no, it may very well matter.
From fullback, Hart, the man equaling Nigel Smart's game record today of 278 games. What a fine effort. Out wide, Matner was held. Caracella, the infringer, and Matner on true centre wing here at the Dome.
They run hard forward when they get a break out of defence.
Perry, the target, Wakeland there to keep him honest. No free kick. Umpire said he was acting, so Holland able to dangerously bring it across ground to Lockyer. He's got good foot skills.
Big rewards for taking that risk, Brian.
Indeed. Look at this. Couple of open men for the Pies. Clement, normally very good by foot. This one's popped up. Allowed the spoil of Goodwin. Had to go in and do some strong work there, did Morrison. Eventually ended up with the ball. Now Shaw, very composed. Rowe, intelligent knock on to Clement. He'll get it back. It was O'Brien, in fact. Brilliant work, O'Brien, down the throat of Tarrant. The handball to Davis didn't quite come off. O'Brien, 3 touches in that particular passage. Rocker with a fly, nothing on. Marked by the big fella. Hudson in defence.
Gets it off to Ben Hart. Drop punt from that player. Long ball. Stevens presents. Beautiful kick. Nicely done. Stevens will look in the Goodwin direction. Hard to undersell how important this player is to the Adelaide Football Club, Simon Goodwin. Hard running, wonderful midfielder. Missing last week, back today.
Ben Johnson running with Rashudo. He's racked up 5 touches already, Johnson. Doesn't use it super well, but can find a bit of the footy.
8 points apiece. Perry and Cloak to the back. Tarkin Lockyer's good. Little kick's going to work. Thumped into the centre. Look at McLeod. Swoop on that. The handball to John Cock was good. High inside the forward 50. Numbers with Collingwood. It falls to the back, and Clement did well. Gets it around the back door to Burns, and they're away on the members' side.
They're on here, Collingwood. Davis. First effective touch of the game. Couple of bounces unsure. Now the low penetrating ball. The Curier's got it all to do. He's got to beat a couple here. Did well in the initial contest. And then the second one was a good one as well, O'Brien. Just trying to get it back to Davis. Davis with evasive skills. Sees Burns at halfback. So Collingwood hanging onto the ball. They are living dangerously, though.
Well,
and Brody Holland.
Sorry, Brian. They're winning it really well in the back half, but the Adelaide players drop off. So they sit in the middle of the ground, and then they find it hard to hit a target past the centre.
Morrison to Shaw, just forward of the centre circle. Shaw to the run of Holland off halfback. The chipping kick to Walker.
You pointed out to me just off air there that they've gone pretty tall in their forward line, Collingwood, and Walker is another of those big talls that's got McGregor for company. That's why they are trying to get it in as long and as direct and as quickly as they possibly can. So Walker's with McGregor. You've got Rutten and Rocker and Tarrant and Bassett. They have got some marking power.
Roof just about fully closed here at the Dome now as Walker lines up for Collingwood's second goal. 30 metres out, directly in front. There it is, and there's the Roof closing. Collingwood have got a couple.
See that bloke over there? He's one.
Really?
Bloke next to him, he's one too.
Joking.
All those blokes. Even old Laurie.
Does his wife know?
All for it, evidently.
It's surprising how many people win Keno. Over 65,000 winners on average every week.
I've thought about it. Yeah, me too.
Keno, win it by the minute.
Collingwood 30 more possessions. More importantly, 6 more points on the board. In the centre, Cloke win it alone. Holland around the corner. Going to bounce for Leon. Stripped of it by Johncock. Bode, as always, sticks his head over it. Might have got a push. Very committed, if not overly tall footballer, Matthew Bode. Around the corner, McLeod gets it to Hudson. Hudson to Johncock, who's been good early. He squares it up. The numbers here, working with Adelaide. This is Shirley. Inside the 50, Perry elevates, but couldn't take it. McLeod, look at the touch he's in already. Handball back to Perry. Going to have to get rid of it quickly. It's hot. Hudson, left foot inside the 50. Dangerous kick. Tyson Edwards in the air. On the ground, it's Skipworth. Gets a handball back to Goodwin. His snap is bouncing in the square. Went the wrong way. And goes through for a behind.
Good work by Perry. He knew he was going to get tackled, but he got his arms free, and his strength allowed him to stand up in the tackle and get a handball off.
Collingwood by 5 points. Early stages, first quarter. And getting a bit of it already, Benny Johnson. 6 disposal in the game. Looking to go up the middle. Kick is dangerous. Shaw was outmanoeuvred by Hart.
The problem, though, if Ben Johnson keeps getting the footy, they almost say Adelaide, oh, he's on Rashudo. We'll let him go a bit, you know. We'll let Rashudo take some risks. He turns the footy over.
Hart wide. Loose man out there, and Goodwin as well. From 60 metres out, he gives it absolutely everything in front. The mark almost taken there. Great attempt by Welsh. And Lucuria tidies up. And Collingwood out of trouble.
This is Cloke if he can rope it in. Ball bouncing ahead of him. Perry comes hard. Comes off the player's boot out in the full. And Cloke, of the Cameron variety, will take the kick. There it is, coming off the boot of Ian Perry. A little stiff. Ben Johnson, 7 disposals already this quarter.
Nothing down the line at all. You've got Hudson and Hart, who are unmanned at the moment.
Inboard, Cloke with a low burner. Works in the end. Morrison has a bounce as he streams through the centre. Sees something he likes. To the left-hand side, and it was Loney. Went without it. Bode picks it up. He's got nothing to kick to now. Squares it up into the centre. Simon Goodwin's been excellent. Handball off to Rashudo. Further afield to McLeod, who's really come to play. He looks to Stevens. Wonderful kick. Stevens couldn't take the mark. Prestigiacomo did well. And Collingwood with numbers in the back half.
Wakeland, now Loney's free again. Here he goes. What can he do this time? A bounce. The centering ball, Tarrant on the lead. Looks good. Hands to it. Bassett did well. Thought he may have knocked the arms under the new rule. Nothing on, said the umpire. Goodwin and Bassett tidy up. The hurried handball was very effective. McLeod, all the big superstars for Adelaide working well together. The kick inside 50. Couldn't hold the mark. Perry. Stevens crashes through. Gone. Just can't get anyone to grab it at that end of the ground at the moment.
The shootout in the middle, Brian. It is a genuine shootout with Rashudo and Goodwin involved, along with Reece Shaw and Johnson. You probably, in the end, say that I'm prepared to let the 2 big guns run through.
Morrison gives it off to Johnson. Long left foot ball. Rocker's got a break. Couldn't take the mark. Well done in the air by Rutten, just to break that up. Rashudo in some space. 5 disposals already for the skipper. And he just slows things down. We spoke, Gary, in the intro about how Adelaide needs someone to take a grab inside that forward 50. It's been their Achilles heel for a while.
They've got no one. They've got big Cameron Cloke just perched in the hole.
And this may land on his head, Cameron. He flies, couldn't take the mark. Ground level Welsh. Loads it up on the left. He is a wonderfully skilled player.
Whether you work in an office or out on the road, A&R Computers do the job day in, day out. What a deal. Comes with dual-layer DVD burner, 17-inch screen, internet printer, speakers and Windows XP for $11.99, or an Asus notebook with CD burner, DVD player, widescreen, bag and a mouse for just $16.99. Ask A&R about getting the full experience on your new PC at A&R Adelaide, Holden Hill, Melrose Park, Noarlunga and Port Adelaide.
2 goals apiece here, and the extra behind to Adelaide sees them 1 point up. Good quality contest so far. Out of the middle, Adelaide looking to extract it, and I think they may get it in the end. Lockyer ran over the top of it. Riley was scragged. Quick hand Shirley. They're away again. Skipworth on boot on ball, inside 50 or thereabouts. Tyson Edwards flew, couldn't hold it. This man is everywhere. McLeod, the long load up from beyond the arc is there. Great goal.
Astra La Vista, baby.
Follow that Astra.
The new look Holden Astra is here, with air conditioning, ABS and 4 airbags. New look Astra from only $21,990. Drive it for yourself.
Astra La Vista, baby.
Neil Craig may just slide a couple of bricks into the hand of Andrew Jarman-Gary any time this week, because he certainly put the afterburners under Andrew McLeod.
Has he ever?
He is on fire. 8 disposals, 2 goals already. Johnson, this is good kick. Gets it to O'Brien. Forward of the centre line, inside the 50. The dual attack from the Pies big men in the air didn't work. Hart to Skipworth was good. To Goodwin was good. To Shirley and back to Goodwin. Left foot to half forward. Tyson Edwards lurking in the front. Wakeland, terrific mark.
The dual attack for Collingwood is not working because they're both ending up in the same position. And they need to do something quickly. Wakeland wide. Finds Rowe in for his first game this year. Composed youngster. Ordinary kick to half forward. Walker did the right thing. Leon Davis front and centre. Bounced off. The tackle gave it to Lockyer. Around the body. Bending back. Hasn't got enough. No. Just the minor score there for the Magpies. Tarkin Lockyer.
Mark Rasciuto comes to the interchange bench. Bode comes back on, and Stevens also coming off for a spell. And on comes Trent Henschel.
Normally plays about 20 minutes a quarter, Mark Rasciuto.
And a fair 20 minutes he did. He had a pretty good duel with Johnson.
Had an arrangement last year with Gary Ayres. Gary, where he basically took himself off. The Roo, not sure if the same arrangement exists, but he has been an awesome player. Bode forward. Handball okay to Doughty. Needs to kick it at some stage. Just got it off. Wakeland again reading the play beautifully.
It's the problem area for Adelaide is the centre half forward. He doesn't seem to be reading the play, Ian Perry.
Cole will get it back. Streaming through the centre. Went short. That works. He's going to get it back again, Richie Cole. No, Carosella hangs onto it. Further afield now with a good kick. And a mark taken surely for O'Brien on the second attempt.
Crowd getting a bit excited about not too much. They attack very hard, Adelaide. Their midfield and half-back line run very, very strongly when they get possession. Any turnover or any quick win of the footy, as Wakeland won at half-back, was able to rebound it, they can get caught offside a bit.
So Shane O'Brien to kick the Pies third. From the set shot. Keeps it low and pulls it away to the left. Disappointing result.
Horrible result.
2 goals for Collingwood in this first quarter. Kicking hasn't been great for them. So John Cock, reliable from this part of the ground to get it back into play. Just around about 5.5 minutes remaining in the quarter.
Collingwood half-back line's pushed up to get involved in this zone.
John Cock has to kick it to a contested situation. Nothing on otherwise. And Edwards front and centre beautifully. That's how you do it. Handball inboard to Bode. Takes Johnson on, around easily. Kick wide is good. Well placed it was. Perry. Wheels around on the left boot. It's a high ball inside 50. Henschel comes at it. Cloak again. Third time in the quarter, has completely mistimed it. Holland went through. Thrown to ground. Stacks on here. Now Rowe. Keeps his head over the ball and did well. Remained composed. Johnson's kick was in hope more than anything. And Edwards will make them pay as he gets the ball to Skipworth. Thought about going. Umpire said he did. So now he has no alternative. How good is his left side of his body? Gets it to the square and again Cloak. This time he's able to get hold of it.
He's had a shocking couple of minutes from that point of view. He tries to make it look too spectacular. He tries to punch it 20 metres rather than perhaps just get a defensive punch on it. He tries to jump and take a big mark rather than take just a solid one.
Rowe inboard, did it well. This is Clement. Keeps it low, didn't do that well at all. John Cock picks him up. Dowdy got runners inboard. One of them's Ben Hart. Long ball from that player. Again, the numbers with Collingwood this time. Wakeland, for the third time in this term, takes a terrific saving mark in the last line of defence.
Well, Ian Perry's he has just got to contest, at least get the ball to ground and give his crummers a bit of an opportunity.
Sideways to Cloak. Morrison moves for him. He goes further afield. Walker, a height advantage over Bassett, used it well. Goes to Carosella with a good kick. Blake Carosella. Inside the 50 for Rocker. Beautiful mark. The finger-tipper. Anthony has a look inboard. He's got Rowe cold if he wants him. Decides to load it up. Look at the drop punt from Anthony across the face. And through for a behind. No problem with the journey from 60 out where Rocker's concerned, but not the required result for his club.
Holland has been relieved of duties on Andrew McLeod.
Kick back into play was risky. Edwards has to brush the Davis tackle. Did it comfortably in the end. Hart wide, and here they go again with the loose man set up. McGregor. True centre wing. Gary thinks Goodwin, and that's the direction he goes. Point of the square at half forward. Goodwin. It's onto his favoured side. Trying to get Welsh to run to the pocket. And pretty poor kick in the end. It's a boundary throw in deep.
Born out of a lack of confidence by Brian, that kick. And they don't want to kick it up into the goal square because they keep getting outmarked. So they look for something else.
Pretty sure he was about to drop a barge on you there, Brian.
I was going to drop a barge, but he's told me he wants to be Brian.
Brian now.
27,900 in the gates already. Anything will do, Gary. From the boundary line, McLeod, only he could accomplish that feat. And hitting the post. He's on fire in the first quarter, no doubt about that. And 2 goals to McLeod already.
Johnson running with him now while Holland sits, and I guess while Rashudo's off the ground, although Rashudo's just come back off.
Clement kicks to himself and then unloads long and straight. Biglands, and from behind Ben Hart worked it to the front. Goodwin made a contest of it. Williams collected it well. Kicks to Leon Davis. He's got John Cock to beat in the air. Bassett comes to lend a hand. Leon did well. Carosella across the line. And a boundary throw-in as we approach quarter time. Been an entertaining first term at the Telstra Dome.
That man on the front page of the footy record today, Leon Davis.
Bulked up a bit, Leon.
Has put on some weight.
Just an excitement machine he is.
And got a very exciting opponent today in Graham Johncock. Biglands out of the air. Dangerous ball here for the Crows. O'Brien tried to worry Dowdy out of it. Had a long time to get rid of the ball. No free. No. Johncock just pumps it out of there. Morrison leads in the foot race, but it's going to tip over the line for a boundary throw-in.
And argue for a free kick there, the Magpies.
Well, I would have thought nearly the perfect tackle, Gary, because he certainly didn't handball and he didn't kick it.
Well, you did right.
Didn't either, and that is a clear case of holding the ball.
Incorrect disposal.
Boundary throw-in, Cloak. Biglands there, won it down nicely. Goodwin. Riley. Through the middle, they look accomplished, Adelaide, in that area of the ground. The long kick, Henschel fighting for the ball. Skipworth on the end of it, feeds the handball. Henschel again on the left boot. Takes the mark. 50 metres out.
Just seeing it unfold before it actually happens, Brian.
Oh, no. Just right on top of it, Gary.
Got no one on the goal line, Adelaide, at the moment. So then Perry's got to make his way down there.
50 metres out. This will test him. The Adelaide players think it's an absolute done deal for distance because they're not worried too much about the line. So Trent Henschel to line up. 23rd game of the Adelaide Crows. Just beyond the 50 line. There is the task ahead. Not that difficult with the exception of the distance. And look at the straightness of that. It is a monster kick. Adelaide have got their third in a row.
Hello there. You know, when it comes to pain relief, it's important to get to the source of the pain. Try Voltaren Emulgel, available without prescription. It's clinically proven to penetrate to the source of the pain. Watch. Oh, it's cool to apply, soothes, and helps relieve sore muscles. Oh.
Haven't kicked a goal for a quarter of an hour. The Pies now. In that time, Adelaide have piled on 3. Rocker into the ruck. High ball in the centre. Beautiful work from Goodwin to get it to Thompson. Thompson outside the 50. Long ball from that player is touched on the line.
Scott Thompson, the former Melbourne player who had a super year, first kick in Adelaide Crows colours, I think debuting today. But first kick at goal, I was going to say. But
Also,
he's a very good player.
Gary,
What's that?
as Lucuria has it in defence, just under 20 seconds remaining by the time he gets rid of it. Paul Lucuria, so they wouldn't want a goal kick against them here. They wouldn't be aware of the exact time left in the quarter. Johnson, who got a lot of it early. Caracella looking for running support, but Johnson wrong-footed on his right, able to get it forward. Tarrant did well to tidy it up here. Adelaide.
Free kick carry back, Brian, the Rutten.
So, at quarter time, Chris Tarrant failed to register a goal in that one. Cloak having trouble getting hold of it. And it is the Adelaide Crows doing it very nicely at the moment. 4-5-29 to Collingwood, 2-5-17.
Welcome back to the Telstra Dome. 12 points the margin in favour of Adelaide. Andrew McLeod putting on a bit of a clinic just at the moment. 2 goals, 2 to his name. Singles to Henschel and Welsh, Rocker and Walker, the single goal kickers for Collingwood. They have dominated, boys, the Magpies. They have had more kicks and more marks, certainly, but it's the way you use them, I guess, that counts the most. And right now they're just banging it forward. There seems to be a pretty crowded forward line down there, and it's not working all that fluidly.
Well, they lead every category, with the exception of the handballs there, Gary, and so that shows they're getting plenty of the ball, but they are confused going forward. I noticed Gavin Brown giving plenty of instruction to the forward line along with Neil Baum, and they're obviously concerned about that. Mick Malthouse not happy by the looks.
Well, they've got Rocker, Walker and Tarrant. This is the question that I'd ask of you two gentlemen. Chris Tarrant seems to have some pace advantage over Bassett and has led him to the footy every single time, but he wins possession 85 to 120 metres away from goal. Now, is it not time maybe for him to go back to the goal square, lead from the square and hopefully take possession within goal scoring range?
Well, Brian never seems to think it matters where he gets it, Chris Tarrant. He could get it at the back pocket, and it doesn't matter according to you, Brian.
It doesn't, because they need supply inside their 50. Now, if Tarrant can win it up the ground, one of the others has got to stay home. That's either got to be a Rocker or a Tristan Walker has got to stay inside 50 to receive the next ball. If Tarrant doesn't go and get it up the field, who does?
Well, to me, though, he looks the most likely to kick a big bag if he was to be stationed closer to goal. But anyway, Collingwood would know far better than us. Let's head down to the boundary where we find Chris Jones.
Well, Gary, when the roof finally shut at the 14-minute mark of that term, the atmosphere changed completely down here on the boundary line, and for the better too. There's around 30,000 people in right now. Interestingly, at that quarter-time break, it was Neil Craig who was much more boisterous and really giving it to his players. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out early in the second set.
Good on Jonesy. Brody Holland there just behind Chris Jones, still on the interchange bench, which means Andrew McLeod would have some new company, and at the minute looks like that man is Reece Shaw.
So we're set to start the second term. Good first stanza for the Adelaide Footy Club. Hudson High got it down. Rashudo went through a couple. Matner picked it up and got it to Tyson. Edwards, his short ball. Okay, Skipworth picks it up. Handball inboard. Set his teammate a real task, and now the Pies can work something on the rebound. Reece Shaw, good kick, out wide. Caracella's got it. 2 kicks from home. Over the top to Rocker. Well done.
Well, they wouldn't believe it, James. Tarrant's playing in the goal square, and Anthony Rocker's playing 30, 40 metres out in front. Walker up in front of him, so it looks a bit more of a dangerous setup.
Had a big break on Rutten on that occasion. And McGregor might have been just a little harsh on
I think Rutten's,
Ben Rutten.
He stayed at full back and taken Tarrant, so McGregor now.
Either way, Anthony Rocker has the ball. He's kicked one. Distance, no problem for this man. The range is extraordinary. Accuracy, however, not the same. And another behind for Anthony Rocker. He's now kicked 1 goal 3. Chris Jones.
Woden's on for the first time of the game. He didn't have a run at all in the first term.
What would be the reason for that, would you think, Gary?
I'm not sure. Has he been out of form, Shane Woden?
Yes, he has been.
Well,
yeah.
sit him on the pine, make him a bit anxious, keen to get out and make some amends.
JB was saying off air, lucky to get a game this week, perhaps. So up they go, Cloak in the air.
Off-air conversations being brought up.
Rashudo, Goodwin, dropping the easiest of marks in between the interchange gates.
Amazing, Gary, how you can say something off air when we're on air. I don't know how that works. Brian just making things up.
No, not at all.
As we go along.
Boundary throw in on the centre wing, JB. Knock in the Woden direction. Perry. Shirley, Matner. Able to kick it inside 50, very deep at that. The tussle. Presti Giacomo was good over the back. Wakeland, Lockyer combining. The kick around to the body to the man in question, Woden. Johnson and Lucuria combining back. Now to Woden, tight on the boundary line. All he could do was advance it forward. Cloak did well to glove it. And eventually the ball over the line will have a boundary throw in.
Some of the matchups. Burns and Edwards. 2 very experienced players there. That one we've been watching for a while. Rashudo and Lucuria, the Brownlow medalist, against one of the best run-with players in the competition. Woden read that best, picked it up. Left foot kick down the line was excellent. And Rose got it at half forward. Running on is Scotty Burns. John Cock closes him down. Awareness from Graham Johncock, terrific. And a boundary throw in the result.
Just didn't get enough depth in the kick there, Rowe. And Burns had to come forward instead of continuing to run backwards as he was. Boundary throw in, dangerous position for Adelaide. It's half forward for Collingwood. Bassett did really well. Rashudo trying to bullock his way through and took the ball out of the ruck and therefore was tackled immediately, and a free kick will go Collingwood's way. Must dispose of it without anyone tackling if you do decide to take the ball on the full in the ruck. Kick into the danger zone. Tarrant leads up the corridor, and Collingwood have opened up a couple of opportunities early in the second.
And the most important part about this is that he will now kick at goal rather than kick it perhaps just inside 50. He is 30 metres out directly in front.
Leon Davis' set-up kick was beautiful as well. Tarrant now to line up directly in front of goal. Chris Tarrant haven't kicked a goal since the 12-minute mark in the first quarter, and they've got their first of the second.
See that bloke over there? He's one.
Really?
Bloke next to him, he's one too.
Joking.
All those blokes. Even old Laurie.
Does his wife know?
All for it, evidently.
It's surprising how many people win Keno. Over 65,000 winners on average every week.
I've thought about it. Yeah, me too.
Keno, win it by the minute.
Collingwood with the first goal of the second term through their superstar forward, Chris Tarrant. Cloak and Hudson this time. Cloak wins it. On the ground, Mattner read it best, but then he was claimed. Edwards got it to Goodwin. Around the body, it's going to bounce at the feet of Skipworth, and Collingwood do best here. Lacuria picks it up. Long left foot ball. Outnumbered Rocker, about 4-1. Bassett took the mark well. Short to Edwards. Has a bounce at half-back. Got the run of Goodwin. Finds him now. Will load up on the left. Stevens and Welsh. The fist from the Collingwood defence. Perry picks it up. Needs to dispose of the ball. Does so now. Eventually it gets to Edwards at centre-half forward. Slotting ball was good. And the mark from Riley was good.
They need it. That's just exactly what they need. A little bit of composure there. It's good to bang away every now and then, but Tyson Edwards spotted up Riley and had the presence of mind and the skills to be able to execute the pass.
Brent Riley, just 5 goals from his 22 games so far in his career.
I think he's also an Andrew Jarman. He was a victim as well during the wide spray.
Okay, let's see what he can do with this then. Can he respond? Yes. Beautiful set shot kick there from Riley. And the Crows bounce back.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I have big news. Radio Rentals brings you 4 years interest-free. That's a massive 4 years interest-free on widescreen, plasma and LCD TVs. You can get 4 years interest-free on fridges and washers at Radio Rentals. You can even get furniture with 4 years interest-free. With 4 years interest-free at SA's biggest electrical retailer, you don't need to shop anywhere else. Now that's big!
Goal apiece in this second quarter. 11-point advantage Adelaide's way. Plenty of time left in the first half of footy. Cloak fell awkwardly, looked to have hurt himself as well. We'll check that out shortly. Johnson, Cloak gets back to his feet now. Johnson down to Rocker. Got to beat a couple again. Walker, the only ground level player near that contest. Hart, reliable as ever. Got it out of the danger zone convincingly. Cloak back on his feet, getting some attention there. He fell on his back and would have winded himself quite severely there, but he's back up now. The doctor just following to make sure. And a boundary throw in. Prosciutto tackled by a couple.
Would have been the motivation of the Andrew Jarman attack through the week, James. You'd know, Andrew.
Not sure. Obviously thought he saw something that he didn't like.
Respected media commentator.
Also got to have an opinion when you're in the media, Gary. He's allowed to voice his the same as anyone else. On the ground, Adelaide will win it through Mattner. Ball may have been touched, so the Goodwin mark wouldn't have been paid anyway. And that's over the line for a boundary throw-in.
Hasn't hit the heights yet this game, really, has it? It's been a pretty bland sort of a contest, but we know that these things change very quickly.
Cloak at the front, goes with the big roundhouse smack forward. Carousel claimed by Ben Hart, may have been pushed, no free. Roy Woden may have been pushed, no free for him either. Now they've sit over the top of the ball. Umpire waits a long time before saying give it to me.
I would have thought an interesting tussle at the moment, Gary, given the fact the scores are close and we've got two sides here fighting for their first victories.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's the one redeeming thing about it, is they're two pretty evenly matched sides.
Ball out of the congested area. Goodwin a good run it, so did Dowdy. Great tackle. Sensational tackle by Shaw. Not rewarded though. Now McLeod free. Shows them a clean pair of heels. And Adelaide doing as they whisk through that midfield at the moment. The long ball inside 50. No mark. Welsh was in front. Woden had to get rid of it. Lockyer keeps it alive. Still under the pump here, the Pies. Kick was well weighted to Cloak. Cloak thought about the Licuria give, saw that he was targeted now. A very gifted kick around the corner to Licuria. Walker had to give it back to Cole. Cole's got the loose man on in the middle in Rowe. He'll accept the mark. Give it to the speedster and Shaw. Little gift over the top. Tarrant had too much on it. And over the line out of bounds.
There is Chris Tarrant. An imposing specimen in the forward 50. Doesn't mind a visit to the weights room, Gary. He's got the big cannons on the side there. The guns.
And the hairdresser too.
On display. Yep. Ben Hart doesn't spend as much time in the weights room, but lots of talent. Mark Prosciutto did well. Speared it out of there. And the line will be the winner.
Got some talent, hasn't he, Cameron Cloak? That bit of play out here on the wing. Some exceptional vision. He's just got to put it all together. He's only a young man making his way in the footy world, but he's got a few tricks and a few tools to suggest he might be around for a while.
Boundary throw in.
Don't agree, Brian?
Hudson at the back.
Absolutely.
Got possession now. Sort of inches it forward. Prosciutto with it. Under the arm. Inside the 50. Tyson Edwards unable to take the mark. Richie Cole almost did. Handball to Lockyer. Cole gets it back. McLeod couldn't make the tackle stick. Cole to Licuria. Woden and Rowe out here. Woden ends up with it. Has to stop and wait. Now he steers it in the Rocker direction. Good kick. Rocker too far out to score. Tarrant wants it in long. Now he leads Tarrant. Got a couple to beat in the air. On the ground, all the numbers with Adelaide, and Goodwin will bring it away.
Out wide, Edwards got the break on Cole. Gathers, got to beat a couple here. Burns corrals him. Edwards had no support running and had no option. If he'd got rid of the ball, Collingwood would have had it anyway. Cole into the middle, spots Walker. Johnson on his favourite left side, little low ball. Rocker at his shoelaces. Davis, High's tackle. Umpire said he acted. Play on. Licuria tackled, pinned to him, ball up centre half forward. Colin Rowe, the umpire in question.
Ben Johnson up to 14 possessions, but just another example of him winning the footy in the middle of the ground. That's a free kick that was rightfully not paid. Going through the middle of the ground and missed the lead by Anthony Rocker.
Rightfully not paid.
Not paid at all. Had to head down over the footy. Right?
Oh, boy. Still got to tackle them correctly, Gary. Carosella around the corner, and Bassett did well working with the flight of the ball.
Short and well directed from Bassett to John Cock. Handball over the top. Mark Prosciutto starting to get plenty of the Sharon. Stops and waits. He's had 10 possessions already. Long down the line in the Perry direction. Wakeland hanging off him did well. Johnson dispossessed. The pick up from Riley. The handball not great. Tarkin Lockyer ridden into the turf will take a free.
Look at the numbers back for Adelaide. They've got 7 players back on their own behind the footy.
Tristan Walker in the centre. Takes the mark. Thought about the handball to Richie Cole. Now he goes with the drop punt ill-directed. And Matner drifts into the hole and takes the mark.
The use of the ball forward, not good, Collingwood. Cloak, the big man here in the contest. Collingwood got the numbers around the ball. Clement around the body. The punch away, not as effective as it should have been. Carosella combining Walker and Burns, the kicker. John Cox got the position here, though, and marked strongly.
Look at the numbers, though. They're badly outnumbered in Collingwood's forward line by Adelaide Crow players that have pushed back hard into defence.
Prosciutto.
Same problem up the other end of the ground.
Taking himself off the ground, as you suggested, James.
Just makes his own arrangements. It's fantastic. Goodwin. Handball sideways to Ben Hart. He's got to get rid of the footy. Not sure if that's correct disposal. Came off his knee. Not going to matter. Carosella brings it forward. Not a great kick on that occasion either. Ineffective kicks running an tally of 20-6 at the moment in favour of the Pies. Rowe pleads his case.
And I reckon 6 of those would be deliveries inside 50.
They've been appalling going forward at the moment at the Magpies.
Boundary throw-in. 45 out from Collingwood's goal.
10-4 inside 50 this quarter without the return.
They still trail by 11 points. They've had a lot of the ball in this term. Hudson, underground handball. Got it to Thompson. Inboard, good to Hudson. His handball not great, but Riley ends up with it. Steers it in the Tyson Edwards direction. Gifted player. Couldn't take the mark, however. Lots of numbers here for the Crows. Mattner's got it. Left foot, long ball from that player. Stevens at the back, can't take the mark. Welsh at ground level. Spins with the left boot. Into the centre. Bounce awkward for Tyson Edwards. And the cavalry arrive for the Pies.
Prestigiacomo working very deep. Now the kick's got to be precise. It isn't. Had to be spot on or he had to go long. And it is Shirley chipping in front of Williams.
It is a 5-goal-to-3 game. Halfway through the second quarter with the roof closed, perfect conditions for footy. Both sides are incapable of kicking goals at the moment.
Collingwood's foot skills, in particular, Gary, have not been what they should in this game so far, and Shirley, as a result of those foot skills, will line up deep in the pocket, but distance won't be a problem. So Adelaide looking for their second goal of the quarter. Shirley puts it out to the right, hoping for it to come back. Nothing on offer there. And just the minor score. With just under 9 minutes remaining in the quarter.
Clement to bring the footy back in. And goes short to the stationary Woden. Takes the mark well. Field kicking efficiency, 83% Adelaide, Collingwood 68. Tells a reasonable story about the Pies' ball usage. This is Wakeland at half-back. Ball to go now into the centre. That had to work and did. Prestigiacomo's got it. Thought about the handball off to Loney. Hangs onto it now. Now he has to go by foot or by hand. He needs to do something with it. Kick long in the Tarrant direction. Ball bounces. He did well to get a hand on that, Tarrant. Rowe to Clement. Clement eases it around the corner. Williams did brilliantly. Burns kick smothered. Rowe back on the ball. Williams back to Burns. Burns can't control the footy. Eventually to Loney inside the 50 from that player, but John Cox in the hole takes the ball, Gary, as you're just unable to speak about what's going on. McLeod breaks to the outer side.
McLeod at half-back. No pressure on him. Hudson. A chip over the top. Stevens will mark uncontested on the wing. Wakeland had zoned off a little, conceding the ball to Stevens. But has done the right thing because we've got one-on-ones the rest of the way down the field. It'll cause Stevens to kick to a contest. Up goes Clement. Welsh was there, couldn't do anything about it. Where Woden fired the handball to Lockyer. Now Shaw, they're hemmed in. Collingwood need to open it up. They do. O'Brien to the run of Woden. Little chip kick inside. Can they keep it inside the corridor? Walker. Just back into the centre circle. Tarrant on a long lead. Got to go over the top of Hart. Got the gloves on it. Now he's got to beat Hart. He's in control. Bassett. Able to get it to Mattner. At half-back. Boy, the skills of this game at the moment, certainly not on show, you would say. And there was a good example. Doughty just dropping a simple take. Mattner, the tackle. Riley. Edwards. Can they make something of this? Shirley. The low ball forward to Welsh, and he marks on the lead. Thank goodness someone hit a target.
Yes, indeed, Brian. And, well, this would be a nice surprise if he was to kick truly here and complete a passage of play that perhaps we won't just put in the archives just at the moment, the last 3 or 4 minutes, but this could be the kickstart that the Adelaide Crows need. They just need to be a bit more precise going forward. Certainly the turnovers at Collingwood at the other end of the ground have cost them. Adelaide just can't afford to fall into the same sort of a trap.
Welsh got one in the first quarter, looking to make it his second of the game. 45 metres out, and oh boy, that one has hit the behind post on the full, and that is out of bounds on the full.
Accuracy, we said, was a problem last week. They were 38.9%. The accuracy average last year was 56, so it's been a problem.
Maybe the conditions are too good, Gary.
No, James, you're working too hard to find an excuse for this rabble at the minute, but things can change.
Burns. Looks like he's got some claret flowing from somewhere, Brian. The back of the crown there, he's copped a bit of a knock.
Amazing, the umpires hadn't spotted that.
Not heard of the blood rule here.
Scotty Burns, inboard. Good to Walker.
Now his melon opened up, Scott Burns.
No one running to him, trainers or umpires, so he's staying out there. Walker long. McGregor worried out of it. Licuria almost took the mark by default. Now he sits over the ball, and we have a bounce. Let's go down to Chris Jones.
The atmosphere down here, boys, is absolutely dead. If you're not enjoying it, the crowd are getting very frustrated.
Well, it's not, I mean, both sides are even, and they're pretty evenly matched. It's just the execution of skills hasn't been great, and the lack of goals is what would be the worry at the moment.
Inside the 50 now for the Pies. Mattner head over it. Tries to work it towards the boundary. Gets some assistance from the veteran Ben Hart. And a boundary throw in, the result.
Yeah, enjoying the white boots, the players of the modern era, Brian. You a white boot, you're a yellow boot.
I have yellow boots, pure yellow. It's just a lovely touch.
I want to go into the boots after the bagging I copped last week. I built up a boot story. And
well, don't go with black boots. If you're going to go with something, go with coloured ones.
Thought I'd go a different way, Brian, not be predictable with my lines as Hudson goes back to Rashudo, who's back on the ground. Slicing ball, very nicely taken by Simon Goodwin.
Racking him up, Simon Goodwin. He is racking up some big numbers. Possession number 15 coming up.
Waiting for something ahead. McLeod been quieter in this term after a blistering first stanza.
Yeah, very sure. Credit to him.
Just 2 possessions this term for Andrew McLeod. Long in the Rashudo direction. Woden at ground level kept it in well, but then his handball was not great. Free kick, though, will go Collingwood's way. Advantage paid. Brodie Hollands off.
Chipping ball to Loney. Loney will mark uncontested just on the edge of the square. Now, what can he find?
That's the crowd getting a bit agitated here.
The pressure mounts on Loney. Brilliant kick. Johnson wide. Tarrant on the lead. Went too early. Johnson wasn't composed. 15th touch for Johnson. Kick on the head of Rocker and Cloak. They fly. Cloak got a hand on John Cock. The big men tussling each other again. The drawing handball over the top to Rutten. John Cock dealt with from behind. Mattner was good. Got it back to John Cock. Adelaide from half back. Loose man in the middle is the captain, Rashudo, to Bode. Put him under the pump. O'Brien able to run him down. Advantage paid. Shaw spots the loose man in the middle.
Finds Rowe. He's called to go high and just kicks it up for grabs.
Oh, my goodness.
And this is Goodwin. Has it on the outer side. Long left foot ball. Going to work for Henschel. Takes it 80 out from goal. Now they flood into the Crows forward 50.
They're slow it up. Reece Shaw's sitting in the hole, but they just need a big, strong marking contest.
Henschel called to go. Left foot kick, and he coughs it up straight to Reece Shaw.
A couple of minutes to half-time where these two teams can just regroup.
Footy purists would argue, Gary, at both ends of the ground, they need to get some of the small men to the drop of some of these marking contests. Yeah, get the pygmies around the big men, Gary.
I'm not sure that they're even getting the ball in the general vicinity of the big men. We've had the last 2 inside 50s, one for Adelaide that missed the target completely, and the other way, they hit Simon Goodwin on his own. That was a Collingwood player, 30 metres on his own.
Darkin Lockyer to Johnson. Sliding mark from that player to O'Brien. Handball from O'Brien is good to Reece Shaw. He goes for the long Tarrant lead. Double teams now is Taz. Ball didn't hit him anyway, and that's over the line for a boundary throw-in.
Yeah, and running through the middle of the ground was Reece Shaw. Let's just point this out. And he has kicked it out of bounds outside 50.
There is Cameron Cloak. Out of all of the Cloaks, looks most like his father David in build. Boundary throw-in, attacking 50 Collingwood. What can they muster out of this with under 2 minutes remaining on the clock? There's only 2 straight kicks in it at the moment. Let's go down to Chris Jones.
Scott Burns has had that work done to the back of his head. Of course, he had a cut which he picked up earlier. He changed his jumper and he's right to come back on.
Scotty Burns down there. Chris Jones reporting as the ball comes out wide to Rowe, who's been quite composed today and got a bit of it already. Has Rowe
Cameron Cloke, Brian, deciding not to go with the mullet hairdo and the disgraceful moustache that
easy on the moustache.
Not only his old man but yourself tend to go for, Brian.
Moustache, very, very much in fashion back in the 80s and the 70s, JB.
Just acknowledge that, but perhaps leave it there, Brian.
My excuse is that they're coming back into fashion very shortly.
Dyson Edwards around the body, disputed ball. Woden did well. Lucuria stepped through a couple. Inboard now, 3-on-1 situation. Nathan Bassett did it easy, got it to John Cock, and he got it to Ben Hart.
Have to be patient with the footy, Collingwood, and I know, you know, their last 8 entries, I reckon, have gone directly to an Adelaide player. They are flooding back Adelaide, but they've just got to be patient going forward.
Handball. Inboard to John Cock through the middle of the ground. Works wide, looking for Henschel. Prestigiacomo on his tail. Nudged him under the ball nicely, and Henschel just said, whack, get out of the way. This is my ball. Over the top to Thompson. On his left boot. Nice centering ball to the danger zone. Has it got the legs? I think it's cleared the back. Oh, it had the Phil Nicholson backspin on it. And it stayed in play remarkably.
Collingwood in the final moments of the first half. Can they get it inside the forward area for a shot on goal? Lucuria must move the ball on. Just waiting. Too long now.
Well, that's because Adelaide have got 4 or 5 free men.
Running
back.
shot from Johnson on the siren. Not sure if the kick's going to count. That is the end of the half.
There was a heavy flood going on throughout the last 15 minutes. 4 or 5 Adelaide players back, but they just did not have any composure going forward whatsoever. So it wasn't a massive quarter of footy. 6 goals kicked in the first quarter. There are now 8 for the game. So a 2-goal quarter in perfect conditions. Let's hope we can shake this thing up and come back with a better one. It is the Magpies trailing the Adelaide Crows by 12 points.
The Collingwood side, and they've actually had a chat, Adelaide. They had a bit of a warm-up, a chat, and now they've sort of broken up, and we still, here they are now, await the arrival of Collingwood. So taking some time to get out on the track, the Pies, after a big spray from Malthouse, I'm sure.
There wouldn't have been any shortage of topics to talk about at half-time, James, given the way this first half unfolded, particularly for the Magpies going inside their forward 50.
Not that it matters to the Pies, Gary, because they are arguably the wealthiest club in the comp, but there are some hefty fines if you don't make your way back onto the track in time.
No, but if Mick Malthouse is trying to work out a way that they can kick more than 3 goals in the second half, you'd happily pay them. We're just going to go down to the boundary for a moment. Chris Jones.
Well, it was quite amazing, Gary. The whole Adelaide side was out on the ground, as you mentioned. The players had even come to the bench, and they'd blown the siren twice, but they hadn't come out. Shane Wakeland assumed the major leadership role as they went in at half-time. He got the whole side together and spoke to them for 2 or 3 minutes before taking them inside to Mick Malthouse.
Well, you're right, JB. That would be a fine.
$5 grand, apparently.
No doubt about it. They were late. Siren had sounded twice, said Chris, and spot on.
Well, let's see whether or not it was worth keeping the Maggies back for an extra few minutes to try and... Look, the biggest challenge for the moment is that Adelaide, who are playing okay, haven't got a dangerous forward line themselves, but Collingwood, when they win the footy and go inside their forward 50, they are outnumbered 2 and 3 against 6 and 7. And they just need to be a bit more patient, maybe get it into the hands of Anthony Rocca around the 50 and let him have a few pings.
Guy McKenna to Mick Malthouse's left. You got Don Pike in the Adelaide room. Some of the old West Coast Premiership players, Brian, having an impact on footy around the place.
Talking about impacts, this man here, Cameron Cloke, needs to have a big impact on this second half of football if Collingwood are going to be able to do something. And Rashudo, what a player over a long period of time he's been for the Adelaide Crows.
One of the very best as we get the second half started. Cloke elevates high, may have just tipped it over the back to Johnson. Adelaide worry it forward. Thompson goes without it. Rashudo gets the little toe poker through. Well picked up by Shirley. The Roo will end up with it. Not sure what to do, so he just thumps it forward. Perry in best position for Adelaide. Flies from the side, couldn't take the mark. John Cock went without it. Some urgency early. Tarkin Lockyer just pumps it towards the line. The end-on-end ball, not going to get there. Bounce shocking for Matner. Lucuria there as well. Good tackle from Marty Matner. And we'll have a bounce.
Good courageous effort from Woden running with a fly to the footy.
Indeed it was. And had to get back to his feet quickly because it looked like the disposal out of 50 wasn't going to get the journey and was going to come back, but it didn't. Woden head over the ball. Made it look a little better than it was, but nevertheless, the free kick there.
Going to go quick here, the Magpies, to stop Adelaide getting numbers back. But
one-on-one everywhere, Gary, as I look downfield, so he's going to have to be precise to find a target or go to the contest. Rowe offers something, so does Rocker. Rowe in front, elevated. Couldn't quite bring it in. Caroselli happy to see the interchange. Gates.
No great changes to either forward lines, to be perfectly honest. They've gone with the same players of Perry and Welsh and Henschel. McLeod for Adelaide, whilst Tarrant, Rocker and Walker up there for Collingwood.
Good fist from Cloak into the danger zone. Well done from Leon Davis, earned himself a free. Focused hard on the ball.
They've got to go quick.
Had 7 possessions, Leon. Goes now. Tarrant on a long lead, again got 2 to beat. This time did it well. Good delivery from Leon Davis.
Like a clock. The longer you wait to kick the footy, the more likelihood your forwards are going to lead to the boundary.
But he didn't have it to kick it, Gary. Adelaide had the ball.
I know Leon's one of your favourites.
He didn't have it. He kicked it the moment he got it.
Just waiting your point.
I'd like you not to interrupt Gary while he's doing the clock analogy, because I really want to hear the full analogy, Gareth.
Thank you very much.
As Tarrant with the footy in hand, this would be a great start for the Pies. Good kick, goal. No, missed it. Oh. Thought it might have been there, Brian.
No.
Got excited about the ball as it was flying goalwards.
Never looked there to me.
But just eased it away to the left. Hindsight, a beautiful thing for you, Brian.
Oh, Brian, he'll bail.
I was wondering where you were going with that, because
thickest of the launch.
Riley over the top for a shootout, half back. Falls to the ground with no one in sight. Riley starting to get a bit of it. The kick in hope. Wakeland. Centre wing inboard. Collingwood got a couple here. Here's the quick move. Lacuria. Johnson over the top. Walker. Oh, the bounce got him. It's going to take him all the way to the boundary line. He'll give it back to Rowe. Handball not what it should have been. Now Woden wants it. Shepherd somebody. Rowe around the corner. Tarrant should have taken the ball out in front. Tried to mark it on the chest. The fist able to get there in front and knock it away.
Yeah, a couple of opportunities there. Walker was on his own for a long time. At least they looked to have a bit more purpose about them.
Brian Taylor, former champion full forward for the Pies, not happy with Taz.
Well, no, it was obvious.
Picked up now by Johnson. Brings it in the Leon Davis direction. Anthony Rocker there as well. Picks it up, Anthony. Goes to ground. Leon handball inboard. McGregor can't get a clean possession. Rocker over the footy. Look at the commitment. Finally, a free kick's been picked out. I think it might be going Collingwood's way.
Out of bounds, is it or not? No.
Anthony Rocker.
No, dead right, James. Let's have a look. What's this for? Oh, my goodness. What is that for?
Sure, there was much in it, but oh, maybe some contact there, but really minimal.
Yeah, dear me.
The big fella, Big Peb, has the ball.
Who?
And he is going to take a shot from the boundary line. Pies have had a couple of shots in this, the third term. He's kicked 1-3 for the afternoon. He may have to put a little banana on this one, Brian, to get it through the big opening. Let's see how he goes about it. No, squares it. So Tarkin Lockyer. Lockyer will go short to Johnson. They've worked it pretty well, the Pies.
Might be beyond Ben Johnson.
And he goes in short. That hasn't gone far enough. Handball back to Johnson. Outside the 50 now with the left foot ball. Going to land in the square. A big climb from Walker. Through for a behind.
Well, Rocker appears to have hurt his arm or shoulder here. He is cradling that arm, and that is real trouble for Collingwood. He is not good. Keep an eye on that for you. And there's another look at it as the play goes on. He is over, I would think, Anthony Rocker.
Elbow, maybe?
Yep, somewhere there, Gary. McGregor, forward. Wakeland, shocking disposal.
Well, this man has taken far too many marks for a defender, Wakeland. He's played very nicely, but Ian Perry or Henschel has got 7 marks.
Rocker's back up. He's favouring the arm as Rowe sends it inboard to Lucuria. Now have a look at Rocker, really favouring that arm. You can see it there.
Got to go now.
Kick towards Carosella. Rocker flies one hand. Mark taken in the end by the Magpies. Carosella.
Yes, and a good mark. Good mark. Must admit our focus was on Rocker there to see whether or not he was going to be able to contest, but that is a good contested mark by Blake Carosella.
It is indeed. You can see Rocker there being accompanied by the doctor and trainer, as Carosella will line up for the first opportunity for him in the second half.
Goals worth about 4 today, Brian.
From about 48 metres out, will test Blake Carosella with the journey here, you would think. In he comes, very deliberate. About 48 metres, kick on the way.
50 metres.
Oh, it's touched on the line, so will he get another opportunity? No. Thought I heard a whistle as well, Gary. Maybe one in the crowd, just a minor score.
See, the man on the mark for Adelaide also thought he'd done the wrong thing because he swung his head around to look at the umpire.
Pies pouring on the pressure early in the second half. John Cock to bring it back in. Just dumps it long in the Rutten direction. Thompson with some hard running. Richie Cole with him. Henschel over the line. Wrapped up by Scotty Burns, boundary throwing.
No damage done for the Crows, though. They have had all the play out at Collingwood in this first final 10 minutes, but no damage on the scoreboard.
This boundary throw-in on the outer wing, just towards half forward for the Adelaide Footy Club. To the back, and Goodwin picks it up. Handball, not sure why, because Doughty was being held. Goodwin off the ground. Going to bounce inside the 50. This is Welsh. Picks it up. Gives it back to Goodwin. The standing start attempt from Simon Goodwin is missing to the left. And they score a behind in the second half, the Adelaide Crows.
Scotty Welsh got to get busy. He is on James Clement. He's looked dangerous at times, but I guess the delivery forward for him hasn't been great all afternoon.
Certainly looks like a lift in the intensity rate in the second half, Gary, already.
Yes.
Cole. See Shaw in the picture as well. The kick over his head. Can run. Shaw takes them on. Did a little too much. Rowe wasn't expecting the ball, and the turnover now complete in favour of the Crows, and they build this effort forward through Bassett at half-back. Got the loose on Biglan's wide. Bigland's quick to dispose of it, knew the tackle was coming in. Thompson now through the midfield, unchallenged at the moment, the bounce. And the kick to half forward, Welsh the target, nudged under the ball nicely by Clement.
It's another pure mark to a Collingwood defender.
Lucuria, short to shore, handball to Cole. Ducks back inside for no reason at all, and he's gone.
Maybe the fact that the left foot is the preferred boot, that was the reason.
Some would say no excuse for the modern footballer, Gary.
None whatsoever, James. I'm not making excuses. It's just the reason he did it.
Henschel in search of Goodwin. Gets to him on the bounce. He's had plenty of it, Simon Goodwin. Goes again for Welsh. And again, Clement's taken an uncontested mark across half-back.
You got to say to you, Adelaide Crow forward, because I don't care if you don't mark it. We don't look to be strong in the marking stakes. But for goodness sake, do not let your opponent mark it.
Rocker, shoulder okay now.
Just a stinger, I think. Right.
Had him written off moments ago, the stinger to Shaw, Gary. Carosella needs some help at ground level. Bassett, cool, over the top with the handball. Finds Rutten, goes backwards to John Cock. Composed as usual, little one around the corner, back to Rutten now. He marks unchallenged. Chipping ball to Edwards, who is loose. What have they got beyond this, the Crows? Henschel offers something at half forward, but he brings it inboard to Riley. Riley now the long challenging ball. Henschel the target, good mark. Close to the boundary, but within range.
Well, I'm just wondering what Rhett Biglan's, whether or not he needs to be brought on, plopped in that goal square. They can't hit targets going forward, so let's just say bang it into Biglan's will at least give a contest.
Brent Henshaw line out for his second goal. Umpire Smith says, come on, Trent, get on with it. Wakeland, unusual, unorthodox position on the mark there. Kick is good, looks solid. It is there, Henshaw's got a couple.
A&R's new store at Manopara has opened, so help us celebrate and save. 50 blank DVDs, $27.95. Save on USB 2 flash drives from $29.95. Pentax 5-megapixel digital camera for $3.69, and here's value includes large LCD monitor, DVD burner, internet, and multifunction printer, just $14.99 at A&R. Now at 600 Main North Road, Manopara, and A&R stores throughout Adelaide.
The Pies haven't kicked a goal for over half an hour now. Adelaide 6-7-43. Collingwood 3-9 in the distance somewhat. Worried out of it was Skipworth. Running over the top of it there, Burns. Tarkin Lockyer inches it to half forward. Reading the play well, Rutten back there. Good young player. Got it to Dowdy, and now the skipper, Rasciuto. That kick was touched. Thompson at ground level, the pick-up good, the commitment good. Handball to Matner. Went back through traffic. Caused himself some problems. Bouncing ball now, and a free kick's going to go Adelaide's way. Matner, the recipient, claimed high by Lacuria, it looked like.
Poke and Thompson going on with it, off the ball as well.
Bit going on there. Matner inside the 50. Got a couple of options. There's the man that Gary Lyons suggested should go forward, Big Rhett Biglands. He's taken it as these two continue to mix it up.
Well, JB, it's a bit the same with Collingwood as the niggle continues off the footy. If you can't hit a target going forward, which they've tried on numerous occasions, Collingwood have marked clearly their defenders 3 or 4 times, will take the precision out of it, put a big body like Biglands maybe up towards the goal square and just say, OK, kick it on his head. And Rhett, if you get out marked, you're going to come and sit on the bench again. Just narrow down the parameters.
So Rhett Biglands with a set shot for a couple in a row for Adelaide. He's got it spinning OK, but it's away to the right. For a couple in a row for Adelaide. He's got it spinning OK, but it's away to the right. And through for the minus score.
The goal conversion here today has been terrible. I think they're averaging between the two sides around just under 40% at the moment. The AFL average is around about 60. Not good. 3-9 to 6-8. Cloak. 27% for Collingwood and 43 for Adelaide on the goal conversion as we speak. Off ground, Wakeland. Matner getting plenty of the ball. Johncock sends it wide. Out there is Biglands. He's attended to by Morrison. Now, Collingwood have got the numbers on this time. Morrison able to pick up inboard Lockyer. They open them up here. Johnson on the left boot wide. Sees Shaw out in the corner of his eye. He goes inboard looking for Caracella. Strong arms. Needed and he got it. And Caracella, one of the better set shot converters in the competition, will be within range.
Sorry, Brian. He has taken a couple of grabs inside their forward 50, which has been hard to come by today, so he looks like he's a little dangerous and capable of scoring a much-needed goal.
They need this one, Collingwood. Caracella comes in and it is there. As straight as you possibly can get. Caracella with his first, Collingwood with the first in the second half.
Heard about Kev?
No.
Rumour has it he's never done it.
Really?
Not interested, apparently.
Must be a genetic thing.
If you haven't played Keno, you don't know what you're missing. Keno, win it by the minute.
Hey, look what $69.95 buys you.
It's our biggest sale ever. 70,000 items reduced.
A happier Collingwood box with the first goal of the second half going to Caracella.
Wouldn't have thought they'd be going for the party hats. Just
happier. Terminology, Gary, for that reason. There is Rhett Biglands pounding in.
Unusual definition of happiness. James?
Happier. Not a hard word to understand, you two.
It is when you look at the up at the scoreboard.
McLeod, 11 possessions in the first term. None
happy box
in this term.
How do you describe that as a happy box?
Happier. For the fourth time, I'm going to need to re-emphasise the word. Thompson with the look-away handball. Beautifully done by Leon. Carousel is going to kick his second in a row.
There we go, a game on.
If you're quick, you can still get away in a new Mazda Tribute. It's the 2004 x4 Tribute clearance on all models, like 2004 Limited Sport Auto with air, CD, ABS, 4 airbags, alloys, fog lamps, and powerful V6. Huge bonuses, but only while stocks last, so be quick. For the best Tribute value by far, don't miss the 2004 x4 Tribute clearance. The savings will take you a long way.
Oh,
now to have.
Oh, yes.
No smiles there.
Sure, I saw something from Mick Bryan.
Look at Bluey McKenna, bottom right. Nothing, no expression. Because they're not there yet. They're 5 points down, Collingwood. Carousel at 2 goals, 14 disposals and 6 marks. Johnson out of the middle. The clearance complete for Collingwood. Miami raised the velocity. Hear the voice as Riley goes wide. Morrison for Collingwood. He's got an option on short and finds that in row. Too far out to score. Davis wants it long. Tarrant on the lead short. 8.5 remaining in the third quarter. Collingwood need a goal to hit the front. Rowe taking a long time to get the ball forward. Leon! Couldn't complete the impossible. Matner. And the Crows out of trouble momentarily.
You've got a favourite in the Adelaide side that you can get excited about?
Someone gets up, I'll do the same.
Skipworth's kick to Hudson was good. Get excited about this man. He's a superstar. Mark Prosciutto. Hard running. Goes in the Henschel direction. Couldn't mark it. Here's another champ. McLeod has a bounce. Loads it up and kicks the goal.
Yes.
Wonderful footy. McLeod's got his third.
Cricket's a tough game. Boy, was it tough on my knees. The years of stress left me in pain. Not even 5 operations gave me long-term relief. But Bioorganics glucosamine did. My knees are now fully mobile and feeling great. Bioorganics glucosamine works on sports injuries and arthritis by helping maintain joint cartilage. Clinical trials show that it can work. But just look at me. I'm walking proof.
Oh, game pace there, Brian.
That is a serious box. 11 points to margin. I want to get a look at Andrew McLeod's wheels at the next stoppage. They are a special pair.
What an excitement machine, Andrew McLeod. Wish I was calling that passage. Would have given it absolutely everything. Well, not that you didn't, JB. Lockout around the corner. Short on Mercuria. Got O'Brien inside. Ignored that. The centering ball. Here comes Rocker. Out to lead the ball. Offhand. There he is. Right foot snap. It's going. Marked on the line. Williams has marked it directly in front. Would have been a certain Leon Davis goal.
Not happy, Leon, either.
Looks at touch. Disappointed. Oh, boy. And you two were jumping off the game early. We've got a hot now. That was marked directly in front.
That seems very strange to me.
Where the Adelaide player stands to mark, if that's not in the middle of the goals. Boy, Williams comes in very close to the man on the mark and got it. Collingwood have got 3 in the quarter, Adelaide 2.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I have big news. Radio Rentals brings you 4 years interest-free. That's a massive 4 years interest-free on widescreen, plasma and LCD TVs. You can get 4 years interest-free on fridges and washers at Radio Rentals. You can even get furniture with 4 years interest-free. With 4 years interest-free at SA's biggest electrical retailer, you don't need to shop anywhere else. Now that's big!
Trigonometry not the strong suit of these umpires. I can tell you that should not have been on the angle that it was.
Second term, Brian, just the precursor to the main show. It's hotting up at the Telstra Dome. Johnson.
Trigonometry, is that right?
Got it.
Yes.
To Morrison. Morrison back to Johnson. Pies pouring it on. Johnson to Rocker.
Oh, there's a momentum swing here.
Big grab from the big boy at centre-half forward.
Well, this Collingwood crowd have just come to life. They've had to endure a fair bit of pain in this first 2.5 quarters, but there's been a swing. They've won the last 6 clearances, Collingwood, and that is where it is all starting.
Let's have a listen to the black and white army. If Big Anthony can steer this through. From about 60 out, he's bringing it home from downtown, Brian, but he's pulled it away to the left. And that's just a behind and a disappointing finish. 1-4 now in the afternoon for Anthony.
Crows have got to lift. The Crows have got to answer this. If the Collingwood crowd get involved here, they get this momentum and some emotion. The best way for the Crows, as Andrew McLeod did earlier, is to get one straight back.
4-point margin, 6 minutes remaining, third quarter. Goodwin. Cramp, maybe? Let's hope it is, Gary. Clutching the right knee or right calf at the moment. He's gone down. McLeod marks. This would be a tragedy.
I'll keep an eye on it, Ryan. I'll keep an eye on it.
Goodwin's been getting plenty of it done in the midfield. Now Bassett to send them forward. Little low ball on the lead. Welsh couldn't mark. Off hands, Johnson. Cole went without it. Henschel to tidy up for the Crows. Around the corner. Sends it home. It's there. Henschel's got his third.
Got something you no longer want or need? Cash Converters will pay instant cash for DVDs, TVs, stereos, CDs, video games, sporting equipment, and most of the other things you no longer want or need, as long as they're in good condition and working order. Instant cash for your unwanted quality goods. Cash Converters, where second hand doesn't mean second best.
Oh, that's the good news, a double bout of good news. Simon Goodwin just appears to have had a bad case of cramp, and Trent Henschel has kicked 3 goals, which is a fantastic effort.
10-point ball game. Trading goals.
Free kick against Shirley. No, against Woewolka must have been. No, against the ruckman who put his foot outside the big circle.
Just whenever you like to give us an explanation, Gary. It's Hudson Long. Inside the 50, Henschel at the front. Couldn't take it, the fist away. Johnson overran it. Reece Shaw tracks it down. Left foot kick missed Morrison. And that's over the line in a boundary throw-in, Brian.
Game hotting up. All of a sudden, we've seen 6 goals kicked in this third quarter. We only had 8 combined kicked to half-time. And the game's starting to roll on here at the Dome. Cloak, the palm down, beautiful to Johnson. Tarrant leading strongly. O'Brien came in. 8. Goes past a lot of them. The centering ball, no one home. Dowdy.
The shootout on. Oh, they went the wrong way.
Wide to John Cock. Back to the traffic zone, Gary.
Yeah, they could have come this side. Mark Rashudo was on.
Great mark by Thompson. Did Morrison, but I think it's out of bounds. It is touched. So it'll be a boundary throw in there on half forward for Collingwood.
Cameron Cloak, watch his foot, his right foot.
Come on, give me a break.
That's what it was for. I guarantee you that's what it was paid for.
Put on the line. It is over the line, is it?
Hey, Brian, I'm just telling you that's what it was paid for.
O'Brien, I noticed that when you went through the rule book. Johnson, high ball in, over the top of Taz. Leon and John Cock go at it. Neither the win there. John Cock perhaps out the back to Bassett. But it's going to come back. Woewolka gathers near the boundary line. He's corralled. The centering ball to Lacuria. He's a left footer, remember. They're queuing up in the middle of the ground, but he wants to send it long. Lacuria with a long ball. Here comes Rocker. Got to beat a couple. Off hands, front and centre. Adelaide got there. Matner thrown to ground by Rowe. Ball was pinned to him. Never going to pay a free there. And a ball up deep in Collingwood's attacking zone.
Leading mark takers. Not all of them big players either. John Cock, Lacuria and Rowe aren't exactly giants. From the bounce, Tyson Edwards across the ground. Bounces in the field to play and then trickles over.
Someone's got a whistle in the crowd.
Yep. I've heard it before.
There is Murray Rose, the man that tossed the coin, the president of the Collingwood Football Club, and his wife, Carla, and the Greg Swan.
Greg Swan, yeah, sure is.
Cloak got it to Thompson. Thompson to John Cock. John Cock to Bode. tried to go with the one hand, unable to take it. Bode stayed on the ground a long time. Henschel tried to worry it back to Bode. Well done, Rutten. Pumps it long. Out of position, Ian Perry needs to win it forward. Richie Cole, beautiful work. Stretches away from Perry now. The low left football, fantastic for Tarrant. Tarrant will pump them inside to 50. One out, Williams. Ball carried him. Here's Brian Taylor's man, Leon. Got the handball away to Rowe. Around the body, going to land in the square. Bassett. Resolute defence for the Crows.
Good ball. Riley out of defence. So Collingwood be interested in the inside 50s in this quarter at the moment.
Oh, here we go, McGregor.
It is McGregor wide. He's got plenty of time to gather. Rocker slowly closing him down.
Taking off.
McGregor does just that, Gary, and had to dispose of it.
Gosh, I'm tired.
Bode tackled and too long and held it and globbed it in. Inside 50s, 14-10 Collingwood's way, and they'll get the free at half-back.
Some tired legs out there at the moment.
Thought that could have been high on Bode. But O'Brien, the recipient of the free here, chip over the top to Shaw, who'll send the Pies downward. Got the loose man wide. It's Wakeland who's crept down the ground. He'll mark uncontested. Now disposal. Wasn't good in the first half. What about now? Down the throat of Caracella, who's got 2 in the quarter.
What a difference it makes, Brian, when you can hit a target. What happens, and this is for both sides, is if you can start to hit a target, it just encourages your forwards to present more often. If you keep leading and getting the ball turned over, well, in the end, you go, why am I going to lead? It's going to go over my head. This bloke, Caracella, has just been a spark.
Caracella, the converter, has got 2 in this second quarter, and this to bring Collingwood within 4 points, nearing the three-quarter time break. Right on 50, offline, badly, and by a long way. Barely snuck in for the behind. And Caracella missing that opportunity with just over a minute remaining on the clock in this third quarter.
2 goals, 2 on the afternoon for Blake Caracella. Graham Johncock in no hurry to get the footy back in. Might just want to slow things down a little, the Adelaide Crows. Collingwood with all the momentum as we approach three-quarter time. Johncock again forced to go long and kick to a contest. Hudson behind Tarrant. Good hands from the big man. Didn't take the mark in the end. Rashudo went without it. Handball forward to Licuria. His kick with the outside of the boot. Going to land in the square. Close. Marks and goals.
Wednesday on 9, Australia's best night of television. At 7:30.
I feel like I've cheated you.
The great Australian drama of McLeod's Daughters. Then, in an all-new CSI Miami, one could drive a date to murder in under 5 minutes.
Well, you know what they say, Frank. Speed kills.
At 9:30, a shocking new Without a Trace.
This case is really getting to you.
Australia's best night of television from 7:30 Wednesday on 9.
Collingwood back within 3 points, under a minute remaining. 4 goals, 5 for the quarter for the Magpies. Important clearance here. Licuria, Hudson fighting hard. Got time for the Crows. Matner will send them forward. On the lead, Edwards. Presti Giacomo arrived late and affected the spoil. Wakeland gets it over the line. And we'll have a boundary throw in with seconds remaining on the clock. Attacking 50 area for the Crows.
Big play, Brian. Big play, this.
Plenty of time here. 37 seconds. They can still set it up. Rocker down. Johnson slung as he kicked. Matner got boot to ball. Rashudo got a hand in there. Woden will go for the boundary line. Caracella has been the man of the moment in the third quarter. Takes Riley on. The kick forward. They're not done with yet. The Pies. Here he is. Look at Leon. This way, that away. Gives the handball up. Licuria. Back to Davis. Davis will go long to the pocket and won't reach Caracella. That one's out of bounds. I think on the full.
No, inside.
With just 5 seconds remaining on the clock.
Well, he has been good, hasn't he, Blake Caracella? Knows his way around the footy field.
Well, you might have been going to mention Leon, Gary.
Oh, no. No one's allowed to mention him. I will not tread on your turf, Brian.
Don't touch it. No. 5 seconds. A snap here, perhaps, for the Pies. Kick out the full. Not going to matter. There's the siren. Good quarter of football. The Pies coming back in emphatic fashion, kicking 4 goals for the term.
But they're arguing the point here whether or not there's going to be a kick. Andrew McLeod has got 3, as has Trent Henshaw. And let's just have a look at these wheels, boys, if you don't mind. They are a fair pair. Can they carry Adelaide to victory? We will find out shortly. 3 points is the margin at the Telstra Dome. Adelaide 56, Collingwood 53.
More than 1 billion Roman Catholics mourn the death of the Pope, and the nation agonises over the Navy helicopter crash that claimed 9 Australian lives.
Local? Yeah, we're local.
On a current affair, parents losing their rights.
My heart is aching all the time.
The government helping children run away and stay away.
They're destroying our kids.
Plus, the kilos are falling off in the weight loss Olympics.
107.
On a current affair.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I have big news. Radio Rentals brings you 4 years interest-free. That's a massive 4 years interest-free on widescreen, plasma and LCD TVs. You can get 4 years interest-free on fridges and washers at Radio Rentals. You can even get furniture with 4 years interest-free. With 4 years interest-free at SA's biggest electrical retailer, you don't need to shop anywhere else. Now that's big!
See that bloke over there? He's one. Really? Bloke next to him, he's one too. Joking. All those blokes. Even old Laurie. Does his wife know? All for it, evidently.
It's surprising how many people win Keno. Over 65,000 winners on average every week.
I've thought about it. Yeah, me too.
Keno, win it by the minute.
Carlton Draft. Made with barley, hops and attractive yeast. Brewed in a big metal thing. Put in kegs and driven around. By horses. Poured into frosty sideways glasses. And drunk in pubs. Carlton Draft. Made from beer.
If you haven't tried the new sweet chili chicken sub from Subway restaurants, you could be missing out. Succulent, tender roast chicken, your choice of fresh salads, all topped with our sweet chili sauce. And the good news is, it's low in fat. Sweet. Subway. Eat fresh.
Here's a typical day inside a Cash Converter store. Fantastic quality, the best brands, unbelievable prices, and an up to 90-day replace, repair or refund warranty on almost everything. Cash Converters, a better way to sell and a great place to shop.
The problem with most high interest rate accounts is you need 2 accounts. One that earns the interest, another for everyday transactions. Members Equity Bank has one account that offers both. The Interest Me savings account. High interest, 5.5% per annum. And access to your money wherever and whenever you want. Interested? Well, call me on 13 15 63 or visit membersequitybank.com.au. Members Equity Bank, the Superfunds Bank.
Somewhere in the city, someone is missing a wife.
Where am I with this woman?
Somewhere in the city that never sleeps, someone won't stop.
I want to find the person who did this to you.
In the quest to get the truth, you'll discover the soul of CSI New York.
She's alive.
And the heartbreaking tragedy that drives this CSI.
Nobody saw it coming.
To find the answers every week.
It's personal.
A new CSI New York, 9:30 Tuesday on 9.
The 2005 Toyota AFL season brought to you by our telecast sponsors Midas Car Care, Amy and Radio Rent.
up against Richmond. If you don't want to know the progressive score, then look away now. Well, here's Mick Malthouse. They did manufacture, boys, 4 goals in that third quarter, having only kicked 3 in the first half. And the unlikely source was Blake Carasella, who's had a pretty fair afternoon.
He was excellent, Gary, in the third quarter, kicking the first 2 Collingwood goals of the quarter consecutively, I might add, and got involved in a few other passages of the play which were important in the end result as well. So he had a great quarter of football. Adelaide huddled together. They've got it all to do in this last quarter, and they need their stars to step forward.
They don't win over here often against Collingwood. 98, I think, is the last time they did. So they've got a big opportunity here, Adelaide. They need their first win of the season, as do the Pies, of course. That man's copped one in the bugle there, Gary. Just got a swab there.
What will they do, Gary? Go with the heavyweights in the middle to start with Adelaide, the Rashudos, etc.?
Well, I would think so, but I reckon you need Andrew McLeod to spend at least half of this quarter forward as well. I mean, make no bones about it, if he's good enough to kick 2 in the quarter, they probably win. Let's just quickly go down to Chris Jones, who's with an assistant coach for Adelaide, the former West Coast Eagles premiership player, Don Pike.
Don, what was the message at 3/4 time?
Oh, look, for us, it's after last week in our last quarter, the focus in the last quarter to stand up and be counted, and you know, that's the challenge in front of us.
Will we see any major changes for the final term?
Oh, not substantially. There'll be a couple of subtle ones, but you know, really now when it gets to a close game, it comes down to our ability to do the little things and do them right, and stay in the game and keep our concentration. So,
thanks, mate. Good luck. Now, guys, just clarification on that incident or that situation involving Cameron Cloke at the start in that last quarter. If his foot is on the line, then spoke to the umpires, and that is deemed to be outside, so that free kick would have been correct.
Jonesy, thank you for sorting that out. That does fly in the face of most other rules pertaining to the boundary line or the centre square line or the goal line. A rather unusual interpretation indeed.
Nice to hear from Don Pike, Gary, one of the, well, you'd have to say, all-time greats at the West Coast Eagles, a premiership player and a best and fairest in a premiership year.
I'll tell you what he was a straight back runner. A very straight back.
All right, maybe all-time great stretching it a little, Brian, but very, very good player. One forward by Biglands to start this final term. Johnson claimed. Was he claimed high? Not according to the umpire. Tarkin Lockyer goes back in. Edwards gets it out of there. Gets it to Goodwin. Goodwin's long left foot ball, well slipped. Clement took the mark.
Another mark to a Collingwood defender.
Clement wide to Wakeland. Wakeland sizes up the options in the corridor and finds Lucuria. One of Collingwood's hardest tryers, Paul Lucuria, twice a winner of their Copeland Trophy, as Clement brings it and transfer to Presti Giacomo on the Dockland side of the ground. Now it's Morrison. The run of Lucuria was very supportive. He gets the ball back and sends it forward to Leon. He's within 60. Will take them on, sends the ball on. Good weight on the kick. Rocker and Williams. Adelaide spoiled by Bassett was very good. And a boundary throw in deep in Collingwood's attacking zone.
A great fist from Nathan Bassett. It was a fantastic spoil.
Leon just borrowed Andrew McLeod's boots for the run home, Gary.
Oh, he's loaded up on the red numbers.
It's amazing. Cloak to the front. O'Brien was good. Wrapped up in the clinches. Carasella the snap. It's away to the right-hand side and just to behind.
Has 2, Leon.
Inching closer.
Getting ahead of himself, is he, Brian?
Oh, he's been getting a bit of it lately, Gary.
Well, I'm not sure he's ready for the red and white boots.
They make a statement about what you're prepared to do in a contest, Brian, your boots.
You need a good 6 or 7 BOGs in a row.
Great chase. Great tackle, Williams.
It was indeed.
Not happy, Mark Rashudo with a voice around him.
Williams a little anxious to get on with it. Rocker got it wide to the man. Carasella ducked his head, so the umpire, exactly as he should have, let it play on.
Very good decision. Very good decision.
And here is that tackle by Williams. Excellent pouncing tackle by the former West Coaster.
Well, and just the people around Mark Rashudo, you wonder what they're thinking.
Biglands. Rashudo fights. Couple of the old campaigners there. Edwards with the extraction wide to Goodwin. Had a bit of cramp in the 30s, recovered and ready to go. This is a high ball to no man's land. It beat McLeod once it hit the deck, but then he pounced. Plenty of time as always. McLeod sends it forward. Welsh got the set. Oh, made a bit of a meal of it.
James Clement
and Clement's
got Welsh as a measure.
Done an excellent job there in that position today.
Morrison Handball off to Reece Shaw. Hard running from that player. Looks to Cloak. Not favoured by the kick, but did well to make a contest of it. Rowe around the body. Forward ball here. Leon Davis lurking at the back. Free kick.
Carosella. No!
I reckon it's Brian's man. Carosella, claim high.
Had the left arm around the shoulder. I think it was Riley, wasn't it?
It was.
Yep.
Kicked 2 goals, 3 on the afternoon, Blake Carosella.
Not in the best hands if you're an Adelaide supporter. Not the bloke that you particularly want to be having this shot at goal.
This to give Collingwood the lead. Early stages, final term, after Adelaide have led pretty much all day. Same story for them last week. Carosella's kick is good. Pies hit the front.
Heard about Kev? No. Rumour has it he's never done it. Really? Not interested, apparently.
Must be a genetic thing. If you haven't played Keno, you don't know what you're missing. Keno, win it by the minute.
Looking to grow? Whether you want bigger premises, more staff, or say new equipment, your Westpac Business Banker can help. Because right now, they won't just get you a great loan, they'll cut you a great deal. There's an idea.
Boy, the crowd are going to come into play now. The first time Collingwood have hit the front since the 17-minute mark of the first quarter. And they're there by 4 points. Now it will hot up out of the middle, O'Brien. Half forward. The win by Tarrant Partly. Came through and missed it. Carosella. John Croft did well. So did Edwards, but he stuck it down the throat of Cloak. Cloak can go wide. Mercuria and Rowe stand and wait. Closing them down over the top was Dowdy. Did a real good job. Excellent work from the Crows. Thompson picks it up. Little short ball, Goodwin. Did it travel 15? Yes, said the umpire. And Goodwin centre wing just steadies the Adelaide ship. Plenty of time for them to work back into this contest. Goodwin stands and delivers, goes very wide. Not sure who he is looking for there. Stuck it in a nest of pies. And Cloak with that unorthodox relaxed kick to Rashudo. He bangs the ball long. 1 out contest. Third man up. Wakeland marks strong.
And very good. Just about being the best player on the ground, Wakeland. He has just held Adelaide up time and time again. He and Clement.
An uncanny ability, both brothers, to read the ball. That's not a great kick in. McLeod pounces and then tucks it under the wing. Lays it off for Rashudo. The snap. Not got the carry. And Woden breaks it up. Gets it to Cloak. His kick. Down the Medallion Club side of the Telstra Dome. The bounce doesn't favour Collingwood. Tyson Edwards. Thompson, who's been pretty good, worries the handball forward. Presti with a hard run. Gets it to O'Brien. He has a bounce. And another. Can have a third bounce. He does. Got Rowe by hand. Finds that player now. Rowe from the standing start. Sits it on the head of Carosella. He's double teamed. On the ground, rocker. Carosella. Collingwood goal.
For years now, you've heard me talking about Australian Pensioners Insurance Agency because really there's no comparison. Their products and service are second to none. But what I don't understand is why every Australian over 55 and no longer working full-time isn't with Australian Pensioners Insurance. So call 132555 now and see why over 630,000 Australians, just like you, have already joined. Come on, call 132555 now. We're waiting for your call.
Understanding, not just insurance.
Is that a happy box?
Collingwood by 10 points. Be interested if Jonesy downstairs could find out what's happened to Ben Hart. Haven't seen him since the second quarter, and they need a steady defender down there at the moment. Don't know what's gone on there. And his record game equaling game today, of course, with Nigel Smart. Haven't seen much of him. Collingwood on fire. In particular, Blake Carosella with 4 goals.
Welsh has just come off, brought Hudson on. She's trying to find that elusive forward.
Cloak. The knock. Lacuria ran into the brick wall. Off hands here. Here they go. Rashudo mounts the challenge on the left boot high. Got to beat it Couples as Perry couldn't. Off hands Cole over a chance. Cole desperate pairing. Edwards not done with yet around the body.
Ooh.
Got it. Back within 4 points, the Adelaide Crows.
So how's your truck going, Bill? Oh, right. What about yours? Can't complain. Hey, isn't that Jono? Hey, Jono, get over here, mate. So you've got a new Ford Courier. So how's it going?
Bloody beautiful, mate.
Oh.
New Ford Courier. It's got what the others are missing. And now available with a 5-speed auto and a big 4-litre V6.
Oh, nice.
It's a tight run to the line at the Dome. Adelaide strike back through Tyson Edwards. Cloak high. Johnson trying to run onto this. Runs into Goodwin. And he's hurt.
Yeah, look, collarbone, didn't it?
Ball to Rowe as Simon Goodwin picks himself up.
The shoulder or ribs.
Rowe to Licuria. Paul Licuria. The steer, Collingwood inside their forward 50. Tarrant with a big climb. Unable to take the mark. Oh, Leon Heldman, he didn't have it. No free kick. This is Rutten who picked the ball up.
Goodwin's in a lot of trouble, boys.
Not a great handball.
He's
going
coming
to
off.
stay in the field of play. Morrison tries to get it back to Licuria. He's over the ball. Morrison, this is again. Picked up by Thompson, who's been good, but that's not his best. Out in the full. Simon Goodwin.
Shrugged the trainers off in actual fact, so twice now he's looked gone.
Licuria off for a bow, and there is the knock that Benny Johnson put on Goodwin.
Might have just been badly winded by, but gee, looked bad.
O'Brien to Woden. Tapon was clever. He saw Cole running. Now he's wrong-footed on his right. Now he works back to the left. The low ball on the head of Williams. Couldn't mark it. Off hands. Skipworth with a hurried kick to the safety of the boundary line. Will it get there? Yes, with a bit of help from Cole. Let's go down to Chris Jones.
The official word on Ben Hart is that he's okay to come back on. He was up and about at three-quarter time having a kick. He just hasn't been picked to come back on. Now, Bode came off with his shoulder complaint, but comes back on the ground as I speak.
Yeah, off. Indeed. Spot on. Chris Jones. Woden over the top of it. Rowe missed it. Prosciutto. Skipworth having a crack in there as well. Boy, has this game lifted a notch or two from the first half. And we see Collingwood leading by 4 points.
Brian, Biglands has come on and gone down to effectively play against Wakeland and ensure that he doesn't take those uncontested marks again and maybe pinch a mark, but at best force some crumbs as we see Ben Hart sitting on the bench.
Has had chronic soft tissue problems, Ben Hart, but the moment he sits it out, free kick to the Pies, and Burns will end up with it. Long ball to Tarrant. He's got some space, and he's got the ball. 7 marks to Big Taz.
Did it pretty well. He separated his man. He pushed him either side of Anthony Rocker, which gave him about 3 metres of space. He did go wide, but left footer, not out of the question.
Big kick for Chris Tarrant. Outside the 50. Have a listen to this if it goes through. Just to the left-hand side of the big stick. And are behind. Pies increase their lead to 5 points.
Cloak off. Walker on. 5 points. Plenty of time for the Crows.
1 goal, 2 today for Chris Tarrant. And John Cock to bring it back into play. We've played 11 minutes in this last quarter. A 5-point Collingwood advantage. As Bassett from defence. Searches wide and finds McGregor. Inboard to Skipworth.
Runners.
They're streaming downfield now. John Cox got hold of it, gives it to the brilliant one in McLeod. He balks momentarily and now slides it forward. Mark taken by Perry.
John Cox been terrific. He has played a super game out of defence. They run as they've rediscovered a bit of run from that back half, and again the cream rises to the top.
Perry to put the Crows in front by a point if successful.
It's a big ask. He's been quiet.
Consecutive goals on offer here for the Crows after the first 2 went to Carousella of the last quarter. Time remaining 11 minutes. Big kick. Perry comes in.
Whoa.
It's bending back. It looks good. It's there. They're back in front.
You know what they said? We want 3 quotes. You know what I said? Okay, first quote. I have nothing to declare but my genius. Oscar Wilde. Second quote. I'll be back. Arnie Schwarzenegger. Third quote. I never forget a face, but in your case, I'll be glad to make an exception. Groucho Marx.
And what did they say?
Nothing. It's a joke, Trev. Trev?
Big Sarge Perry sticks one through, and Adelaide hit the front by the barest of margins. Back in the centre, Hudson High, unable to do anything with it. Bode bursts on through. Left foot inside the forward 50. Perry again couldn't take it. This is Henschel. Beautifully done, Clement. Will search for the line and find it. And the Pie fans happy with their resolute defender.
Kept his feet well then, Clement, didn't he? Looked like he was going to tumble, and if he did, it would have been a certain attempt on goal by Adelaide.
Would have been in a lot of trouble without James Clement and Wakeland. The Crows, they've lifted, they've responded, and they're showing some heart here.
Hudson wins it down. Burns, though, to Woewodin. Left foot kick from Woewodin. Look at Walker fly for this at the back. Here's Leon Davis. Gets the handball off to Carosella. Can steady and miss. Away to the left-hand side, it is all tied up, and Carosella has now kicked 4-4 on the afternoon.
But Goodwin to come on, he's up, he's ready to come back on for the Crows.
Fresh legs important. Collingwood have got 7 players that have played 100% of the game, and Adelaide have 10. So a slight edge there in the fresh legs department for the Pies. Kick back into play by John Cock, cleared the pack. Rocker, Thompson, out of trouble, indiscriminate disposal. Lucuria threw it, I thought. Umpire said no. In the middle. Got a piece of it, Shirley. Riley. Gobbled up Lockyer. Here they come. Woewodin. Lots and lots of time. Searching kick to Tarrant. The big fella Rutten did well to see it to the line, and Tarrant says sorry. Poor disposal.
Not sure if it was the right option. He had inside Anthony Rocker.
68 points apiece. Never have these two sides drawn in the history of their competition. Short as it has been. Burns, Woewodin, O'Brien likes the left, centering ball. Rowe!
What are you doing, Dowdy?
And has got a touch of cramp to go with it, Rowe. But this won't stop the youngster having a shot on goal. And Rowe has been pretty good in this game and has yet to kick a goal in his league career.
And he's not a bad time to jag one when the scores are level in the last quarter and you've got cramp.
Never has this man kicked a goal, Gary. And here he is in front, wearing a famous number, number 9.
No.
As Rowe comes in, 45 metres out, directly in front. Pies back in front.
Getting into your own home seems to be getting harder and harder. Thankfully, HomeStart provides the perfect entry point for a home loan. They've got a range of loans that offer a choice of options to suit just about anybody's situation. How smart is that? Give HomeStart a call. Isn't it worth sussing out all the options?
HomeStart. That's smart.
Rowe with the goal. You wonder if he knows, Gary, the load he carries wearing the famous number 9.
I have no doubt he would. I wonder whether Michael Dowdy knows that he's wearing the jumper made famous by Tony McGuinness, because that effort was not that impressive to spoil.
Cole off under the blood rule, guys.
All right. Cloak walks the line. This game has tightened right up. Collingwood by one straight kick. Umpire taking a long time to bounce the ball, but he gets it done now. Rocker in the ruck, maybe inches that forward. Goodwin committed at the ball, did brilliantly. Prosciutto just tries to bollock his way through, and bullock even, Brian, and he achieved it in the end. Bode, high inside the forward 50. Look out from the side, Perry. Excellent football from Adelaide.
And you know what? That mark wouldn't have been taken 5 minutes ago because, and this is the, what do you call it?
I tried to say bullocking, Gary.
What did you say?
Not sure.
Yeah, well, that's bollocking. Bollocking. But look at Wakeland and Biglands. Wakeland's got his hands full with Biglands, can't do what he's done all day. Perry marks.
Perry to get it back even. Set shot, goal.
Great effort, Perry.
With 30 seconds to go, they need to move the ball quickly. Never write this Midas team off. Bang! Hit the long ball into the goal square. Oh, what a grab! Absolutely sensational stuff. So get into Midas and grab a Midas car service from $99. They even have logbook car services that won't void your new car warranty. That would have to be grab of the year. For Total Car Care, call 1364 32. And you know what they say? Trust the Midas touch.
Excitement levels have risen here at the Dome from all parts. Supporters involved, we're involved, teams are involved. It's on here at the Dome. Walker, the tap down at Leon Davis has got a three. Oh boy! Oh boy, the igniter against Johncock. And Leon, a chance to put the Pies back in front.
What was it for, Brian?
Didn't see it. There's a look at it.
Oh, yes.
Just a little tug on the jump.
No, it was a definite free kick. Definite free kick. Ben Johnson racks up 30 possessions at the minute, career best disposals, and
Brian,
there are the wheels.
Look at them.
Oh, Joel. Now, you put pressure on yourself when you pull them on, Brian.
Not Leon. Here he is hovering over perhaps the biggest kick in his short career.
Stand by.
Leon Davis from 50. Won't get the journey.
Get the black.
And the off of the line has been taken by Tarrant.
Unforgivable.
Will he run around? Will he go the Lamana Banana? Which one will it be? Taz on the left. Here he is, the short run up, setting up for the banana. There it is. Run around on the left. Third shot at goal. Minor score. Just the minor, so Collingwood by a point with lots of time remaining, 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, that was an unforgivable mistake by the Adelaide defenders, allowing a mark to be taken within a metre of the goal line.
Johncock to bring it back in.
Good player, this fellow.
We'll wait. He's had to kick long to a contest often from this situation, and often it's been pumped back in by Collingwood. This time, well done, Welsh. Got it to Prosciutto. Look at this. They're on the Adelaide Crows. Running forward is Skipworth. Goes in short. The fist doesn't matter because McLeod will mop up and miss to the near side.
He should have got the kick that ended up being kicked to Biglands on the lead. McLeod was inside on his own. And having said that, he would normally gobble it.
Adelaide have led for 76 of the 107 minutes today, Brian. They led, remember, last week for most of the game.
They did indeed. Only to be rolled in the end by the Eagles. Woden goes across the face. Oh boy. Clement right under the pump. Under 7 minutes on the tick-tock.
This is where the gut-busting running needs to come into play here.
Le Curia, fresh from a spell, gives it to Woden. Waiting for someone to come, puts it down the throat of Holland. At half-back Collingwood. The little chip over the top to Le Curia.
Hard runner this far.
He is indeed, Gary. He'll send this one long. Tarrant the target. Got to go over the top, couldn't. Good defence there from Bassett. The kick inboard. Bode marks strongly in defence.
34 disposals for Paul Le Curia. This is Bode now looking for Thompson, who's been very good, but he's going to have Rocket a beat in the air.
3 on 2.
Big ball here to be won for the Pies. Get it forward to Reece Shaw. In short, Carousel, the kick didn't work. He can go back and pick it up off the ground. Johncock held.
Yeah,
but the composure of Graham Johncock was superb.
Woodward just snuck on the interchange.
Got it to Freddie Bassett. Handball forward to McGregor. He can work with Goodwin if he likes. Decides to go to Henschel by hand. Henschel tucks it under the wing. Goes for a running talk. Long ball forward. Dispute in the air. McLeod picks it up. Drops down from behind. And the Pies are away.
Oh, what a tackle. Lockyer. Wakeland, perhaps a match-saving tackle. Here he is. Carosella dropped the mark he should have taken. Loney's got fresh legs. Hasn't played a lot of the game. Loney, just 31% of it. So he could be a valuable acquisition in this last few minutes.
You've called some great things. Ashley said he marked last year, but this, put it up there with the great goals and the great marks of this year. That is an unbelievable good tackle to chase down Andrew McLeod. Game in the balance.
Part of the leadership group, Tarkin Lockyer, and there's a good example why. McGregor, Rocker, Williams, Bode's in there fighting hard and keeping the odds Adelaide's way.
It's a good game of footy now, Brian. It was ordinary early.
75 points apiece, some worried faces in the Adelaide box.
The bounce. Inside the last 5 minutes, and it's all tied up. Who can stay focused and confident and composed? Will it be the home side? Reece Shaw goes for Tarrant in the air, couldn't take it. Henschel did really well, and the kick was good too. It's going to bounce end on end in favour of Clement. Clement to Morrison, the former West Coast Eagle. His kick misses its target.
The last 3 kicks to Chris Tarrant have missed him, and he has been on every time.
Rutten has to go back and kick over the mark.
Turn it up.
He's still got Dowdy if he wants him, Rutten, but he hangs on to it.
It's one-on-one now. One-on-one now.
Goes with the low ball. Rashudo at the front. The skipper takes a mark. No, not paid. Reece Shaw. Short this time for Tarrant. Again, the fist away. Henschel gets it to McGregor to Bode. Bode just pumps it in the air. High ball. Lots of players fly. Well stayed down. Numbers here with Adelaide. Wrapped up beautifully by Woden. And the umpire says, give it to me.
Pretty good effort, Woden. They were away, Adelaide. Chris Tarrant got to get those mitts out. Brian.
Got to extend the arms and avoid the punch, Gary. JB sits here and he wonders what we're talking about. That is just the little thing that you learn as a big gun forward, JB. Just extend the juice. He's got the big ones.
The cannons.
Ball up 60 metres from Adelaide's goal. Cloak almost through it. Henschel out the back door. Skipworth with a high one. Here comes Perry. Got under it. The knockdown though. Bode bounced off the tackle, round the body, open square, needs a good bounce, didn't get it.
Every score important here.
Adelaide have had just one draw in their history, 1994 versus the Saints, and Collingwood hasn't drawn a game since round 12, 95 against the Dogs.
In the forward 50 here for the Crows. Tight moments of this game. Johnson pumps it out of there. Almost a mark to Carosella. On the ground, he's worried out of it. Matlett claimed in the tackle. Handball to the excitement machine, McLeod. Left foot goal.
Oh, don't tell me.
He's a superstar.
Don't tell me.
This afternoon on Postcards, tips from the world's best pizza maker, the brush men and women of the bush. Chad takes a dip in the name of marine science, and I'll show you why the Inman Valley has a true claim to fame. See you this afternoon on Postcards.
Who can build the best garden? 6:30 tonight in the race to be best. Cast your vote and you could win your very own Bliss.
Would you like a new garden?
Who will you vote for in Backyard Blitz's Battle of the Backyard? 6:30 tonight on 9.
Talk about goals under pressure. Have a look at this. Game tied, and McLeod does that to you. Oh boy.
That is footy at its absolute best. Game in the balance, 75 apiece.
Rip the heart out of Pies fans here.
Not over yet.
And didn't he salute them as he went past? Rashudo tackled high against Lacuria.
Might have been a former player of the Adelaide Crows he was sending a message to as well, Gary, back at home.
It's a very good afternoon to Jars sitting at home with a jar, probably.
Rashudo wide. Hudson sporting the very nice-looking beard with a big thunderball forward. They elevate, free kick. Who will it go with?
Collingwood free.
It is. And they're away. Johnson has been a prolific ball winner today. Hudson! McGregor it was, in fact. The wild one.
Some heroics needed when a game is in the balance like this. And it was a good effort.
Got it to Skipworth. And he will just settle things down. Still lots of time in the game, 2.5 minutes.
Too early to be going this play, isn't it?
McLeod back to Bassett. They only lead it by 6 points.
Need some running. McLeod running.
Bassett will be called to go. Now play on. Now he has to go. High ball to a contest. Look at the skipper.
Get a fist in there, a Magpie player.
Rashudo.
It's a good effort here by Adelaide.
The big man for the big moment, Mark Rashudo. John Cock to the side, gets it to him.
Leon, get up with the red and whites up there.
Stephen Schwerdt, the Adelaide runner, just letting Graham John Cock know how much time there was left in the game.
A bit early for this.
John Cock called to go. This to Thompson, who's been good. The fist from Woden was good.
Big play this, big play, Brian, and JB, centre circle, big clearance needed.
1.5 minutes left. Collingwood, you would think from this position, can only come out with a draw. Hudson.
Good effort.
Desperate to win it, Hudson. And happy to see it over the line. Another 8 seconds off the clock.
Now, no extra numbers back here for Adelaide. They haven't dropped any players behind the ball, so if Collingwood clear, they are a chance.
Adelaide have kicked the last two to hit the front bar goal. The backhander by Cloak was more in hope. And there is the hope.
Well,
bounced offshore. Bove, the set-up attack coming. Here he is, the magician. Decides to just hold possession to Bassett. Now, that is a composed player, Gary. He could have banged that forward.
Yeah, you're right, Brian.
And he said, no, the game situation requires that I go backwards and steady the ship. Under a minute remaining, and John Cock and Adelaide have possession. And now Matner. They're not in any hurry to score. They're just happy to hang on to the ball.
This has shown some spirit here from the Adelaide Crows. Coming over to Melbourne. Haven't done this for a long time against Collingwood.
Matner to Rashudo, 60 out. Boy, have they been loose.
Who's on Rashudo those last 5 minutes? He's been great as well. Good leadership, strong leadership.
Mark Rashudo leading from the front. His team are in front by 6 points.
He's going to have a shot.
I reckon he's going to have a go at a barrel here. He's going to have a rip at a big top. And he's got onto it. Any score will do. To the front, almost a mark taken if they can get it through for a behind here, Adelaide. It's game over. You sense it is anyway.
Great win. This is a big win.
The ball's going to be bounced, but the siren's going to sound, and Adelaide beat Collingwood for the first time in Melbourne in 7 years.
Since round 13, 1998 here in Melbourne. It's been hard, big day for him, but they had some heroes, but no bigger hero than that man right there. Andrew McLeod kicked a miraculous goal with just over 3.5 minutes, tucked up on the boundary line, on the left foot, and threaded it right through the middle. And then Mark Rashudo, the skipper, just helped settle them down in the dying moments of the game to get the Crows across the line for their first win of the year. Adelaide 12-9, 81, defeating Collingwood 10-15, 75. Well, what do you make of that? Accuracy, goal accuracy, Adelaide 57%, Collingwood 42. There is the difference in this game. 25 scoring shots to 21, Collingwood still lost.
The other thing, Brian, is when the game was in the balance, one of the superstars of the competition stood up and manufactured something to get his mob over the line.
Indeed they did, and that goal accuracy that Gary mentioned improved in the second half. And Adelaide, as you say, through their superstars, Rashudo and McLeod with the finishing effort there. Perry stood up big time in the last quarter, kicked 2 goals, and that man there, Mark Rashudo, would be very, very pleased, congratulating Perry who did kick those last 2 goals, moved forward, expected to do something, and what an effort. Let's go down Chris Jones with the man that kicked that miraculous goal.
3 minutes to go, you're on the boundary line, you kick the winner on your left foot. How did that feel, mate?
Oh, bloody good, especially in front of the Collingwood crowd over there, but yeah, just good. They've had a measure over the last 6 or 7 times, and it's just great to get a win over them on their home deck.
You had your knockers during the week, you played a great game today.
Oh yeah, look, everyone's entitled to an opinion, but you know, they don't really know what goes on in our footy club, so they can stick it.
Fair enough too. What about this game today from a team perspective? Did you feel like you really deserved it after last week's match?
Yeah, look, we had our opportunities last week but didn't capitalise, and this week we came here to play and come here to get 4 points, and that's what we did.
Well spoken, mate. Well done.
Thanks.
Yes, very pointed. No mucking around there, James.
No. There's Neil Craig, his first win of 2005, and he's pumped, and so he should be. Said at the start of the show, Gary, they're a proud club, Adelaide, and they know that Collingwood are very tough to beat in Melbourne. They'll be absolutely delighted.
They will be stoked, and well done to the Adelaide Crows. Big winners today here at the Telstra Dome. 12-9-81 over the Pies, 10-15-75.
7:30 Tuesday, a survival record is on the verge of being smashed. One tribe is down to just 3. Can they stop a 7th tribal council in a row?
I'm not ready to go yet.
While on the other side of the island, a canoodling couple threatens the tribe.
We're all watching the relationship and seeing where the alliances lie.
Plus, something so incredible, so unbelievable, we never thought it could happen. Survivor, 7:30 Tuesday on 9.
We're here in Melbourne to relive arguably the greatest moment in grand final history.
Unbelievable moment.
And to help us, we have Mr. Wayne Harmes. All right, it's 1979. It actually looks like the Pies are going to win a flag. That is, until Harmesy here comes to the rescue. You're going to come running in, slide along there, it's going to be wicked. Yeah, we like it too. Goal square, Harmesy, goal square! He does it to Sheldon! Goal square! Yes!
Hungry Jack's, where it's at, Hungry Jack's.
The big, juicy burger that started it all. The legendary Whopper.
I like that.
100% flame-grilled beef with pickles, ketchup, onion, tomato, lettuce and mayo. Legendary.
Love it at Hungry Jack's, love it at Hungry Jack's.
The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
Here comes the Midas team out onto the ground. Boy, what an outfit. This Midas team has it all. Mechanical repairs on everything from suspension and brakes to mufflers. They're a well-oiled machine, this mob. When it comes to total car care, including logbook car servicing, the opposition has no chance. Get one and it won't void your new car warranty. So ring 136432 for total car care. And you know what they say? Trust the Midas touch.
Hey guys, we're over here.
Welcome to our place. Let's show you inside.
There's great pet and animal advice with our resident vet, Simone.
And one of Australia's best cooks, Maggie Beer, with some great recipes.
This is Miles, our gardener.
Hi, Dr. John.
Now, I will be showing you all the facts and tips to keep you fit. This is Jackie, our wildlife expert.
Don't forget Wally.
Forget Wally, mate. Get this thing off me. And the fun part is...
It's all in front of a live audience.
Outplays premieres 7:30 Friday on 9.
A&R's new store at Manopara has opened, so help us celebrate and save. 50 blank DVDs, $27.95. Save on USB 2 flash drives from $29.95. Pentax 5-megapixel digital camera for $369, and here's value includes large LCD monitor, DVD burner, internet, and multifunction printer, just $14.99 at A&R. Now at 600 Main North Road, Manopara, and A&R stores throughout Adelaide.
So how's your truck going, Bill? Oh, right. What about yours? Can't complain. Hey, isn't that Jono? Hey, Jono, get over here, mate. So you've got a new Ford Courier. So how's it going?
Bloody beautiful, mate. New Ford Courier. It's got what the others are missing. And now available with a 5-speed auto and a big 4-litre V6.
Fantastic victory for the Adelaide Crows here. They were in front at every change, 12 points at quarter time, 12 at half time, 3 points at three-quarter time. They were headed in the last quarter, but with a bit of resilience and backbone, got their nose back in front courtesy of that man, Andrew McLeod, and ran out winners by a goal. He kicked 4, Henschel got 3, Perry 2, and for Collingwood, Blake Carosella was very good with 4 goals and singles all the way through. James, you reside in the town of Adelaide. He did cop some criticism. We mentioned it off the top of the show, and he's responded like champions do.
Well, he was wonderful, Andrew McLeod. So was Mark Rasciuto, and that's what you want. You want your big senior players to stand up. Simon Goodwin as well, a wonderful return to the team and to form. But when the special players do special things, Gary, it makes it worth the price of admission. Andrew McLeod was magnificent.
He was a joy to watch, and I reckon the coach might have been happy to have him in Adelaide colours as well, and he's been good enough to join us. Neil Craig, congratulations on opening the account for season 2005.
Yeah, good, Gary. Pretty important game for us, so it's, yeah, it's pretty, it's a fair bit of excitement down here at the moment.
How proud are you of the boys after last week?
I think their effort in that last quarter, anyone could see, irrespective of who you barrack for, that both teams were going for it, but our guys in particular were fantastic.
What about Andrew McLeod? He answered all the critics today, didn't he?
Yeah, well, I mean, Gary, Andrew's, you know, had a lot on his plate, a whole range of areas, but his ability to lift in the last quarter, as with other our senior players, plus everyone else, I mean, I knew Andrew was capable of doing that, so it's good for him personally.
Neil, a little frustrating to win your footy through the middle of the ground and go inside your forward 50 and continually see Wakeman or Clement or these blokes taking your marks in defence. I thought when big ones went down, he gave you a contest and you're able to snatch a couple late in the game.
Yeah, it was, Gary. We were critical of ourselves in the second quarter in particular, where we sort of just tended to bomb it and not look as short as often as we should have. But when we did get a slightly different setup down there, we certainly looked a bit more dangerous.
Neil, last week hurt you. I noticed at the three-quarter time huddle that you really gave it to the boys. What did you say? What was your message to try and get them over the line in the last term?
Oh, no, it was no... I mean, we were disappointed last week with our last quarter. You know, and it's something which we've been criticised for, and rightly so, because the record is there. So it was really about, we've got to front that up and do something about it. And if it wasn't this week, it'll be when we get another opportunity. But it was really about just fronting up the situation and using the opportunity to try and to do it a bit better.
Neil, congratulations. It's a great victory. As we said during the call, you haven't knocked off the Pies here for a long time, and some emotional scenes at the end there. You gave the old front of the box a bit of a bang. Was that to anyone in particular, or was that just the outlet of frustration and emotion?
It's just a bit of emotion there, Gary, but it was a really important win for our club. No question Collingwood have had it on us for years, and to come over here, to travel and to beat Collingwood was pretty special for our club.
Well done, congratulations, and enjoy.
Well done.
Good luck for the rest of the year.
Thanks, Thomas. Okay.
Neil Craig, the coach of Adelaide, a pretty happy and relieved coach. Tough job
Absolutely.
coaching, I tell you what. You know
Well,
what I mean?
as important as home wins are for interstate teams, interstate wins are rare, aren't they? I mean, if you sneak a couple, it really does help you get into the final 8. And very honest there, Neil Craig, he's a good man.
He is a good man. We'll take a break here at the Telstra Dome where the Crows have done it by 6 points and wrap up a big day, Sunday football.
Now the truth. Come with Richard Carlton to Iraq's front line.
Are you failing? No, we're not failing.
Find out what our Aussie troops are in for. And with more mums working, who's left holding the baby?
Hello.
Tonight on 60 Minutes.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I have big news. Radio Rentals brings you 4 years interest-free. That's a massive 4 years interest-free on widescreen, plasma and LCD TVs. You can get 4 years interest-free on fridges and washers at Radio Rentals. You can even get furniture with 4 years interest-free. With 4 years interest-free at SA's biggest electrical retailer, you don't need to shop anywhere else. Now that's big!
Waiting, darling. Sweetheart! Yes, now, please. I'm late.
A&R's new store at Manopara has opened, so help us celebrate and save. 50 blank DVDs, $27.95. Save on USB 2 flash drives from $29.95. Pentax 5-megapixel digital camera for $369, and here's value includes large LCD monitor, DVD burner, internet, and multifunction printer, just $14.99 at A&R. Now at 600 Main North Road, Manopara, and A&R stores throughout Adelaide.
Hungry Jack's, where it's at, where it's at, Hungry Jack's.
The big, juicy burger that started it all. The legendary Whopper.
I like that.
100% flame-grilled beef with pickles, ketchup, onion, tomato, lettuce and mayo. Legendary.
Love it at Hungry Jack's, love it at Hungry Jack's.
The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
Getting into your own home seems to be getting harder and harder. Thankfully, HomeStart provides the perfect entry point for a home loan. They've got a range of loans that offer a choice of options to suit just about anybody's situation. How smart is that? Give HomeStart a call. Isn't it worth sussing out all the options?
HomeStart. That's smart.
Here comes the Midas team out onto the ground. Boy, what an outfit. This Midas team has it all. Mechanical repairs on everything from suspension and brakes to mufflers. They're a well-oiled machine, this mob. When it comes to total car care, including logbook car servicing, the opposition has no chance. Get one and it won't void your new car warranty. So ring 136432 for total car care. And you know what they say? Trust the Midas touch.
They call it speed dating.
Well, you know what they say, Frank. Speed kills.
But what could drive a date to murder in under 5 minutes?
You think that... Yeah, we do.
All new CSI Miami.
He's pacing around, wanting to get out the car park. We've got a bit of work to do before we can go, Brian. Look-away scores for Richmond and Hawthorn. That game is completed. If you do not want to know the final score, look away now. Well, wraps up a very big round two. James Brayshaw, the Adelaide Crow team, well, they will go home very happy, I would have thought.
Andrew McLeod, that's like hitting the winning runs off the last ball, Gary. You don't get it.
Not that familiar with that, I wouldn't have thought.
No idea what that feels like, but it must feel great.
He's a superstar. Ian Perry, we saw there too, kicked two late goals after perhaps being down for most of the game. So a great team effort from Adelaide. Thanks for your company, James, through the course of today. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll head on.
It's flying at half-mast outside St Francis Xavier's Cathedral for Pope John Paul. The 84-year-old pontiff died early this morning. The world's 1 billion Catholics are now mourning his death. The Prime Minister says the deaths of 9 service personnel in a helicopter crash is heartbreaking. They were helping earthquake victims in Indonesia when their chopper went down. Premier Rann has called on Speaker Peter Lewis to resign and the Port to get a multi-million-dollar opening bridge. We'll see you at 6, but now it's back to Aurora Stadium for the start of the third quarter. Fremantle leading by 5 points.